Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, all. Welcome in on this fine Sabbath. Good morning, Knocking. Good morning, Rick. What's up? What's up? They're piling in quick. I only turned it on a few seconds ago. But welcome in on this gorgeous Sabbath day, the day of the Lord, the day of rest, the day we all tired. It is this, that's right. We are me person. If you requested up on purpose, hang out for just a couple minutes. If you're a Christian and you want to debate, and we will bring you up. We're going to just fire it up, so we're going to let a couple people pile up in here first on this beautiful Sabbath day. If you're already in here, please tap the screen. Here on my channel, I debate Christians. Try to keep it civil for the most part. And here you can watch an undereducated hick perform an intellectual takedown of the Christian faith and doctrine for your entertainment, but also to make the world a better place. Okay, cool, man. Hang out for just a couple minutes if you don't mind, and we'll bring you up and get the show started, buddy. We will bring it up. We're going to let a few people pile up in here first. Let's see. Yesterday we had a banger of a show. If you know me, I go for the ideal jugular in these debates. I don't pussyfoot around philosophical arguments and such. I go straight for the Bible. Let's just read it. Let's just see what it says. And it's always fun. Always fun. Last couple days have been bangers of the show. I haven't changed my topic all week because wow, it's been a good one. So the topics are, again, just in case you didn't see them there: God is an unjust narcissist and liar. Jesus fulfills zero prophecy, my personal favorite. And Christians don't actually follow Jesus. The topic that's been up there all week, and not a single person has actually tried to debate me on. And in fact, several people have actually read that and just agreed that that one's true. It's weird. It's almost like no Christians actually follow Jesus. Just, based on my topic and show and stuff. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the Sabbath, and we're about to debate it up. The day God unalives people for picking up sticks on. Probably ain't gonna like some people up here debating. I don't think he's gonna unalive them though, because he is imaginary. No, it's more like your rage bait. That always cracks me up when y'all call it rage bait. That's hilarious. Maybe the Holy Spirit could calm y'all's rage down. Hey, I was reading Isaiah earlier too. And Jesus is nowhere to be found anywhere in that book, coincidentally. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and start bringing folks up. We already got, goodness gracious, 4 people in the queue. And we are me wounded. That's too long to read, but he was here first. So we're going to bring him up first. We'll just call you we there if you don't mind, or we are. You there?
Nice to meet you, first of all. You are my creator. Did you know that?
No.
Like John 14:20 is stating, on that day you will realize that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, and I am in you, and you are in me, highlighting we were never separate, exactly like in your dreams. And that this is the real
Sir,
Trinity.
what are we talking about? You just sound like a crazy person. Can we pick one of these topics and debate up here?
So
Hello?
the point that you bring is that God is unfair, but that unfair is actually just a perception, because you are God. God is the sum of all there is. Whenever we align with the God consciousness, whenever we understand, we eternally come back.
I have no
Randomized
idea
in
what we're
all
talking
forms.
about, or I'm not a god, I'm just a person.
But according to Christianity, it's not true. According to
Well,
every
according to me,
revelation, you
Christianity
are
is
a God.
untrue. So
Christianity says you carry the Holy Spirit in you. And when you carry the Holy Spirit, you are part of that Trinity. Not only Jesus and the Father, but you as well. Everyone is part of the same oneness. You and me and everyone is you. You created everyone and you eternally shall come back here to experience the fruits of what you have reaped. Every action we see today that we don't like or we like was something we have sown in our past lives. And we can change it. You can shift this reality with intention of love or fear. And no actions
all right.
will
Well, this
be
is a really cool story there, bro. But we're gonna have to get to a debatable topic up here. Do you have one
the
you'd like
topic
to
is
actually debate on?
today Christianity, the priests do not follow the book because all of them will neglect John 14:20. Why? If you accept
Okay.
John 14:20, we are all gods.
So
And
can
that
you actually
means
pick one of
everyone
these?
must be
Okay.
equal.
All right.
And
Sounds
so
like
within
the ranting of a madman here, so I can't listen to this. Anyway, thanks for coming up, buddy. But like talking to sane people here. All right, let's try Zeke. I think Zeke was next. Zeke is not there, I don't think. Yeah, that was really weird. Goodness gracious. Well, the Sabbath be starting off like the Sabbath be starting off. All right, let's try the next one here. Who was the next one? Tenra? Maybe Tenra was. All right, let's try. Tenra, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Are you over 18?
Yeah, I'm 28.
Cool. Are you one of the Christians?
Yep.
Awesome. So which one of these topics you want to debate us on today?
So you said God is an unjust narcissist and a liar, right?
Yeah.
You also said he's not real, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so aren't those statements contradicting?
Yeah, if I try to hold them both at the same time.
Okay, so which one do you believe? Is he a liar
So
or is he
I
not
believe the
real?
book's description of God is making him an unjust narcissist and liar, whether he's real or not.
Okay, but if he's not real, then this debate would be kind of purposeless, right?
No, because you think he's real, don't you?
Yeah, but what does it have to do with you?
Yeah, so I'm debating that he's not real, and if he is, he's an unjust liar and narcissist. And you're debating that he is real and he's not those things, right?
And so are you open to changing your mind? Are you open to seeing from my side of things?
Sure, if you actually got some good arguments and evidence.
But you said you're a former Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no changing your mind. You used to be on our side, now you're not, right?
Well, according to Hebrews, I can't come back anyway, but yeah, I would change my mind.
Okay then. So then what you're doing is you're just rage baiting people. You don't believe anymore.
So
So you want
did
people
I
to
enrage you so bad you had to came up here?
No. I saw the topic and I'm like,
Oh, okay, then it's
people
not
who
necessarily rage bait then, is it?
people who call God a liar and then say he's not real in the same sentence are delusional because why? It's like
Oh, okay.
talking
Well,
about
prove it.
Superman.
Prove it.
Prove that you're delusional?
Yeah.
You said earlier, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you're an uneducated hick.
Yeah.
Okay, that statement proves that you're delusional.
No, it doesn't.
How doesn't it?
Maybe you should learn what delusional actually means.
Well, you're uneducated and you're speaking about something that you don't really know.
Somebody can be uneducated and not be delusional. You know that, right? Do you know what
Right.
words mean?
But you're speaking as though you know what you're talking about, and you just admitted that you're uneducated.
Well, if I don't know what I'm talking about, you can show the entire world right now and everybody watching. All you got to do is make a good argument for your faith.
Well, I just made an
Everybody
argument
knows
against
I'm
your
an undereducated hick. That's not a secret. You're not exposing any secrets here.
No. I understand that. What I'm saying is that
Yeah.
if that's what you call yourself, then your opinion on this topic is irrelevant. You're an uneducated hick.
Maybe it is, but I have a basic reading comprehension and I can read your silly book and expose it for the nonsense that it is. It's not even hard. Even an undereducated hick like me.
Well, but then
You should be proud.
that's the thing though, because there are people that, according to you, are way smarter than you who believe in the book. So who would I go with? You or
Yeah,
them?
so I don't know. Who makes the most sense? If we could get onto an actual argument, that would be great.
I would think the educated person would make more sense than the uneducated person. Wouldn't you agree?
I would think they could come in here and destroy me defending their faith if in fact they could defend their faith, but since it don't happen on a regular basis, it proves that I'm actually smarter than them.
No. That's what I said in my comment. It's not that they don't want to come in here and defend their faith. They see the rage bait and they're like, dude, if you don't believe, that's good
So
for
if
you.
you're
Like,
so
let's move forward.
enraged by bait, then you really ought to get a little closer to your God.
No, oh gosh. I'm not
Because I
talking
don't
about
get
me.
enraged and I don't even have a God and I'm just an undereducated hick and people don't rage bait me into coming in and talking to them.
Well, so
Maybe
like
y'all
I
should
said,
ground yourself a little better in your God or something. That way you won't be enraged by heathen titles of debate pages.
right, yeah, I understand that. But like I said, they
Doesn't say
see
much
your
for you, does
rage
it?
bait. I never said that they fall for it. They see the rage bait and they
Oh,
don't even engage.
oh, okay. Well, lots
Yeah,
of
so
people do
that's
engage. You're up here right now, in fact. So
right, because
maybe
I'm
you
just
could
I'm
actually defend your faith instead of just attacking me in my position.
well, but this is the thing. I don't have to defend my faith if your position isn't really firm.
You do if you're going to come up here. This is debates page,
And
man.
and then so if I don't defend my faith, you're just gonna kick me, right?
Yeah,
Even
I'll
though
just
you haven't addressed
yeah.
anything I
I'm
said.
just going to move on to the next one. You haven't
Okay.
said anything of substance regarding your faith. You just come up here to call me an undereducated hick and say I'm rage baiting people. You're up here
Right.
crying, is what you're doing.
I pointed out what you said and why what you
Yeah, you're
said
up here
makes you not
crying
qualified
about
to
me
have this
rage baiting the poor Christians into having a debate, but you don't want to have a debate. Now you're crying that I might kick you because you don't want to debate me on my debate page.
No. Listen, I'm not crying. I'm saying you already
You are
stated
crying.
that you're not qualified to have this debate.
So
You
are we
already
going to
said
debate?
that.
That's not what I said. You need to learn to listen.
You said you're
So
uneducated.
do you want to actually debate something or not?
Bro, you said you're uneducated. That means you don't know the topic.
So
Okay, then. So you're not qualified
undereducated
for
in
the debate.
general. I know plenty about your book. I know it way better than you do. I guarantee you.
I promise you, you don't, because you don't even believe it.
I promise you I do.
What about my book do you know more than me?
Do you want to actually debate?
Yeah, I just asked you a question.
Probably all of it, yeah.
Okay, give me an example.
Oh, okay. So what does the new covenant say in Jeremiah 31? That each will die for their own sins? What does that mean?
Exactly what it says.
Oh, okay. So that means Jesus can't die for your sins in the New Testament, doesn't it?
Not at all. If your sins are
Oh,
blotted
so
out by
you don't know how
Jesus,
words work. Oh, wow, crap.
no,
We haven't
no, no,
gotten through
no,
one whole sentence and you've lost the debate already.
no. This, like I'm saying, like you said, you're uneducated, so you don't know the premise and the precept behind things that
Oh,
are
I
said
do.
in the
I know it
book.
all.
So
I
so
do.
wait a
You
minute.
don't.
If Jesus blots out your sins, you don't get judged for them.
He don't
That's what
block
that
out
means.
anybody's sins. That's ridiculous. It's made up by the New Testament. That's how I know it's not true because they
Okay,
didn't even read the Old Testament and see that when the New Covenant actually forms, each will die for their own sins. That's the whole point of the New Covenant. So saying Jesus died for your sins is ridiculous and contradictory to the Old Testament.
yeah. See, you don't know the Bible whatsoever.
Okay, well, correct me then. What does it
Okay,
actually mean in Jeremiah 31 when it says each will die for their own sins? What does that
okay,
actually
good.
mean?
So Jeremiah is in is in the Old Testament, and it's about a
Right?
specific it's about a specific thing going on with these people of Israel, with these children of Israel. When Jesus
Yep.
comes to fulfill the law that the children of Israel could not
He
fulfill,
don't come to fulfill any law.
but didn't he say that?
Yeah, he says that, but he's a
So
bogus
no,
prophet.
hold on. So then you can't tell him that he didn't come to do what he came to do.
Oh,
That's
I can. I
here
can.
goes this delusion once again. And this is what I'm telling you. You're not really a
Jesus'
debater
delusion,
because you're
not
giving me
mine.
feelings. You're not giving me facts,
No, I
right?
can read anything you want to read and put it on paper into the words. Of course, you'll deny them because you're indoctrinated, but I'll show you the words where I can back up
Listen,
everything I say
you can
because
say
that's the
whatever
whole
you
point of
want.
this
I
page.
just asked you if Jesus came to fulfill, and you said he didn't, but he said he did. So how can you tell me
Yeah, that makes him
he
a
didn't,
delusional false prophet.
bro? Holy shit. Yeah, this is why you can't have a conversation with a real intellectual because you don't listen.
I have them all the time.
but you're not listening. You keep talking when I'm talking, and that proves you're not listening to
I'm
me.
correcting what you're saying when you're trying to say I'm wrong. I'm saying, no, I'm not wrong.
You just made an incorrect statement. You said Jesus did not come to fulfill,
No,
but he literally said that he did.
that's what I said. I said he says he did, but he was delusional. He did not fulfill anything. There's no such thing as fulfilling the law.
How,
And
okay, so
there's
and
certainly no such thing as him fulfilling prophecies that he doesn't fulfill, because he says he came to fulfill the prophets too.
so your perspective of what happened in the past is better than what was recorded from the past, right?
What?
Your perspective of what happened in the past is better than what was recorded in the past.
Well, I have hindsight on the past, so yeah.
It's
Hindsight's 2020.
impossible to have hindsight on something 2,000 years ago.
No, it's not. There's a whole book writing down stuff about it.
Like, how could the hindsight benefit you now about something that happened 2,000 years ago?
Same way it benefits you.
Oh, fucking God. All right, bro. You don't have no brain cells. Appreciate you.
Thanks for coming up. Oh, amazing. Amazing. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. See if they can cry a little bit. Let's try Elijah. I don't think he was next, but I want to say I've seen him requested up before, and I didn't bring him up, so we're going to try him.
Thank you, Lord, for putting me up here. So
I'm
I
over
apologize.
18, right?
Yeah, no, I'm 19.
Okay, and you're Christian?
Yeah, I'm Christian.
Okay, cool. So which one of these topics you want to debate us on here today?
I believe we could get through all of them eventually, but let's go ahead with the prophecy. So, what do you
great.
mean by he came to fulfill the law? Like in your understanding, what do you understand that as?
I understand it as he came to keep the law, because he told people to keep the law, and that's how you get to heaven.
Okay, so
Oh, you cut out there, buddy.
the reason why he is, huh?
Oh man, I can't hear anything.
No, it's probably my
there you go.
microphone.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay, so the reason Jesus even had to come and die, and the reason he's able to come and die, is because he is the Son of God as prophesied in, like, let's say, Psalms, Isaiah, Zechariah, like a bunch of the books. And
I don't think he's prophesied in a single one of those.
You don't think he's prophesied? So what would constitute
you just named?
Okay. So let's first establish the actual, like, reason we can even consider him to be within the Old Testament, or be able to be prophesied in the Old Testament. So generally we call him the Son of God, and you understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Proverbs, after the book of Psalms, which could have taken place before the book of Psalms, but it's weird how it works. Or the Psalms did that. But basically, if you go to Proverbs 3:34, do you have a Bible, or do you just want to do concepts?
Well, you can just tell me the thing there. If it's one real important, we'll go read it.
All right. So it says in Proverbs 3:34, I'll read this quickly. The words of Gar, the son of Jakeh, even the prophecy the man spake unto Ithiel, and even unto Ukal. Surely I am more brutish than any man, and do not have the understanding of a man. I neither learned wisdom nor have knowledge, as in like complete knowledge of the holy. Who hath ascended up into the heavens, or descended? That's something that Jesus did. Who hath gathered the winds in his fists? That's something that the Father did. Who hath bound the waters in a garment? That's something that Jesus did, because we believe that he is the creator. As it states in John, like the first chapter of John. And who hath established all the ends of the earth, which is also another quality of Jesus. What is his name, and what is the name of his son? Now, whenever they're talking about God, they're usually going to be talking about this within the history. So in verse 5 it says, every word of God is pure, and he is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. So it's stating that this is talking about God, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and it's stating that he has a son. So he's not entirely human, because you're a man,
several
right?
sons. He has lots of sons.
He has signs. Who has signs?
Yeah, David was a begotten son of God. You know that, right?
Yeah, but he was never crucified and bruised for the iniquity of Israel.
Yeah, but there's no prophecy about that.
There is Psalm 22.
There's not. It's not a prophecy. It's a lament of David.
It's a lament
That's
of David.
David praying, not a prophecy. There's a big difference in a prophecy and a prayer.
So David is going to pay for the sins of Israel with his own body.
No.
No?
David,
Okay.
in Psalm
So
22, David is in big trouble. He's surrounded by armies. That's why it uses language like bulls surround me and a circle of dogs encircle me and stuff like that. First of all, it never says pierced. It probably says like a lion, they bound my hands and my feet. But it's not a prophecy either way. It's a lament of David. A prophecy is God giving information through the mouth of a prophet about something. This is David praying to God because he's in big trouble. It's the opposite of a prophecy.
I guess we
According to
can call
God
that.
in Deuteronomy 18, it tells us what a prophecy is and how to test for it.
So what do you believe about those prophecies while I look over
I
Psalms
believe they don't
22?
describe Jesus.
Okay. So
The
it
only
says
thing you can do to make Jesus in the Old Testament is cherry pick lines like they pierced my hands and my feet, which is a mistranslation out of Psalm 22, which isn't even a prophecy, and try to apply it to Jesus. You can't read any context from the Old Testament and say that it's clearly about Jesus. You have to cherry pick lines and
okay.
make it about
Okay.
him typology and metaphorically and double fulfillment was.
Double fulfillment. I mean, I don't believe
Yeah.
David's hands were pierced, and I don't think there's any record of that.
No, I don't either.
Okay. So I don't think anyone has ever sold I don't think anyone has ever sold the garments of David and cast lots upon his vesture and everything that he has. I don't think that ever
Yeah, that
happened.
was a wartime thing.
That happened to David within the
If he was
Bible?
beaten in a war, it did, yeah.
But do you have a record of that, or is that just an assumption?
I'm saying he was surrounded. He's saying they're casting lots for my clothing, so I'm assuming it happened.
Well, that's only if it's not a prophecy. Does he specifically
It's an
clarify-
account whether it's a prophecy or not, but it's definitely not a prophecy.
Can you prove that it's not talking? I understand your point, and I understand why this seems very, very stupid. But if you can't prove that this is an actual event that happened to David, and that David is talking about something that happened to him directly,
It's David talking, isn't it?
It's David talking, but does he actually
Who's
say
he
it's
talking
about him?
to?
He's writing it down.
To who?
Well, he's writing it down because he thinks that these are meaningful words. That doesn't mean that it actually
Yeah,
happened
but
to him.
the first sentence of it says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" So he's asking God a question, right?
Supposedly.
So
I
he's
mean,
talking to God, right?
We've had people talking to God, and then they receive messages from God, right?
Yeah, but a prophecy is God putting words in the mouth of a prophet, giving specific testable information.
Right, so we're going to work with that. If God put these words into the mouth of a man, and this man hasn't
He
actually been
didn't.
through
This
that,
is
and it's-
David's
the
lament.
words are
It's a
actually
lament
about-
of David. It says it's a lament.
It says a psalm of David. Where does it say lament?
It's a lament of David. A lament is an
Is that in
expression
the
of
psalm?
great grief or sorrow.
Yeah. So do we have lament actually within the book Psalm 22 itself?
Yep.
We do? Where? Where does it?
Yeah.
What verse?
Here, I'll show you.
If it's just in the
It's the
side
title
note,
of
we
it.
don't
Psalm
have it.
22, the plea for deliverance from suffering and hostility to the leader, according to the
Do you
deer
know-
of the dawn, a psalm of David. It's a lament.
Okay. So I'm reading Psalm 22. I don't see that actually within the text. Is that on a side note of the book?
It says, my God, Wait, what? No, I mean the
Yeah,
definition. This is what a lament is. It's an expression of grief and sorrow. That's
Yeah,
why at the
but you
top it
kinda have
says
to-
a plea for deliverance of suffering from suffering and hostility. That's why it's a lament, because of what he's saying.
Do you know who wrote that part about it being a lament? Is that actually within the verses, or is that just a title written by modern translators and might
It's a
apply?
description of what it is. A lament is an expression of great grief or sorrow.
Yeah, but who titled it as a lament? Was that actually within the text, or is that
I'm
someone
calling
that
it a
wrote it
lament.
on? You call it
Me.
a lament, so that's more
Yeah.
like a personal opinion. We can
So
work
you
with
just
that.
don't know this is the lament of David. This is
But
the first time you've ever
you
heard
have no
this?
proof that. Hmm?
This is the first time you've ever heard this?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
So
we
I'm
can
not the only person who's called this a lament then?
um I wouldn't say that. There's been people disputing about whether it's been a prophecy, but as for this being a lament based on something that modern writers put in the Bible to make it
Yeah, well, let
easier
me
to
tell you why it's
understand.
a lament. I'll read it to you. It
Okay.
says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me?
Uh-huh.
From the words of my groaning. Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer by night, but I find no rest. That sounds an awful lot like a lament to me.
So can you find this in the text of the Bible talking about David?
I don't even understand what you're saying.
Like if
This is a
like
lament of David. This is what this is. This is a psalm of
let's
David, a lament of David.
yeah, so let's first define something. If this is something that happened to David, we should be able to find it in the books that are talking about David, right? Like this exact quote,
So
why
you
he
don't
said.
think this is about David?
No, I think David wrote this, but I don't. You can't. You haven't proved to any extent, or even given me any text to suggest, aside from a modern like label that was printed for the sake of new people in modern days being able to understand what the text is about. You
So
have
you
to
don't know
prove
what
that
this
this
is
is about.
about.
You don't. I don't think either of us can actually say what this is about.
To the
But if
leader,
you can
according
find
to the
this,
deer of the dawn, a psalm of David.
according to who?
David is writing this. David is the king of Israel. He's surrounded by
Yeah.
enemies. He's asking God for help. Why in the world would you think this is anything but about David?
Did he ever quote this in any of the books that were written about his personal firsthand account?
What?
Okay, so when I write something, right, and I'm telling something happened, I'm putting it as like a psalm, right? I'm going to be in an event, and this is going to be a recording, like a secondhand copy and paste of what I originally wrote. If this
You
isn't
think
something he
Jesus was
originally
a
wrote about
worm?
himself, no.
Oh,
Where does it
okay.
say a
Well, this
worm?
says, but it says, but I am, but I am a worm and not a human, scorned by others and despised by the people. So you think this is talking about Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh, so Jesus is a worm.
No, he's not a worm. So, like
Oh,
it
but
says,
it says when it
so
says I'm a worm and not a human, that doesn't mean okay.
it says no man, as in like the status of man. Like if let's say you get cornered and you get into a bar fight, and then you're in the corner, not because you're. I'm not saying that you're weak or anything, but let's say you got jumped unfairly. You would be considering yourself to be like in a pitiful state, right? If someone says that about themselves, that doesn't mean that they're a worm. Like I could say the same thing about you saying David is a worm. Do you
I
believe
just don't
David is a worm?
understand how you know this is David's writing, but you're saying it's not about David.
So if I write something about someone else, and I don't clarify what it actually is within the
This
writing
isn't
itself.
about someone else. There's no reason to think it's about someone else. It's about
Okay.
David. He's surrounded by armies. He was the king of Israel and he lost battles. You know that, right?
Yeah. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I think we should both at some point come back to this specific passage. But in case you ever want to disprove this, because I am standing up for truth, if you can find this about a quote as like something within the actual story of David himself, we can do that. So let's go to Daniel
You're
7:13.
telling me being in wars wasn't part of David's story?
It was, but that specific quote, like imagine
That,
he
you're
he
saying
had
yes to
said,
everything I'm asking you. I don't understand why you would disagree with me.
okay, I understand that you don't understand, and I think that we're both confused.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand that you don't understand. So
I understand that I don't
I
understand
understand you
you
have
as
to
well.
make this about Jesus to maintain your belief, but it's just not. You have nothing to go on to say this is
So,
about Jesus other than a mistranslated sentence.
are you okay with banter about our points to like? Are you okay with banter specifically, like little
Banter.
mini, not necessarily insults, but like mocking of points
Oh,
and
you can,
statements?
yeah, you can say whatever you want to me. I don't care as long as you say it in a
Okay.
conversational pattern.
Okay. So let me get this straight. You're saying it's about David. It's
Yep.
about David. He's writing this
A
about
psalm
himself,
of
and
David. Yeah.
he's talking about himself. Yeah, but you're saying this is about himself. This is about
Yeah,
him. This is a
yeah, it's
lamentation,
God.
but you can't
It's
find
David
any.
asking God for help. He is literally talking to God. The very first line says, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Who is me?
Who is me? Can you
Yeah, who is
prove
me in
that
that
David
sentence?
actually said this quote? Can you prove that David actually
Nope,
said this quote
nope.
in a war?
Can't even prove this is
So how do
David.
you know
Don't
it's
even think
about
David's a
David?
real person. So I'm just going to
You
make
don't
your
even think
narrative
David's a
worse
real
with this
person.
line of question.
What about all the history for? What about all the archaeology in the region of
There
Israel
ain't no
that proves that
archaeology
the
for
lineage
David.
of David and Daniel were both
Nope.
kings?
There ain't no archaeology
You
for
don't.
David.
There's none.
No.
Are you sure?
Yep, the closest thing to David's
You're absolutely.
lifetime is the Tel Dan Stele, and that is from 200 years later. It's from a foreign king claiming he beat someone from the house of David. That's literally the only historical mention of David outside of biblical text.
Do you know what that means? That means the
What does that
house
mean?
of David, a king in Israel, existed, and he beat someone from the
No, it
house of
doesn't.
David.
It
Whether
means
that be him,
another
yeah, that's what
king
that
who beat
means.
somebody called them the house of David, the same as all
The
the
house
kings
of
like of
Israel.
Greece. They said they came from the house of Achilles. Achilles wasn't a real person, it was a mythological figure. They're claiming divinity. It's the same thing as the Anunnaki. The princely seed of the Anunnaki. That's what it means. That means they were claiming
You believe in
divinity
the
in a line of
Anunnaki, but
kings, the
not
same as
David.
David was doing.
You believe in the Anunnaki, but not David.
No, I'm giving it as an example to say that's the same way the house of David is being used here. Uh,
Okay.
Jewish kings from claimed to be from the house of David. That's the only way you could be legitimate is if you was from the house of David. So they had to call themselves that.
So they chose this non-existent man to name themselves after, and they chose this non-religious nation who doesn't believe in pagan
Well,
idols.
look, that ain't
And
even
you're
a debate we got to be having it here. Either way, this isn't a prophecy about Jesus.
I'm just saying, man, it's kind of like you hold this standard for saying that your opinion is right
No, it's
without
a
actually
different.
being
I
able
just
to prove
shifted
it.
because you said something else. But this is what I hold to. I don't think I'm not sure. Actually, David may have existed, but I don't think he was a
Yeah.
historical figure because of an extreme lack of evidence on this point here specifically.
Okay, we can. I don't agree with you, but we can move to the next point if this isn't going to go
Okay,
anywhere.
awesome.
Um,
So, can I just bring up my favorite prophecy that Jesus didn't fulfill?
yeah, sure, we can debate it.
Okay, so sweet. I actually haven't got to this one in quite a while, and this should be really fun. Anyway, so you think Jesus fulfilled a prophecy about riding a donkey into Jerusalem, right?
It would. I'm not sure on the exact city, but there was an account in Matthew that he did ride into that city or a city, which was, kind of
So, do you
documented.
think
So
Jesus
you're gonna
fulfilled
have
the
to go through.
prophecy by riding a donkey into Jerusalem?
I'm pretty sure he rode a donkey into Jerusalem. If you're talking about
So,
it
you
being a
don't think he
prophecy and
fulfilled
it
the
being,
prophecy, though, right?
we're not going to say what I think because I know that he did ride a donkey. I'm not sure what you're quoting at this exact moment. I
Well,
will be
what's the
honest. If he
point?
didn't
You
fulfill
think
the
he rode a
prophecy,
donkey? I think he rode a donkey too. So, what's the point?
okay, I think he rode a donkey into a city. He was called Hosanna, Hosanna, the Savior, and that's what I know.
And you don't
But if
you
you're going
don't
to
think
quote
this
something
is a
as a
prophecy,
prophecy,
right?
well, I don't. I think something is a prophecy, and you don't think something is a prophecy. So we're kind of at a
Well, Matthew
standstill.
thinks this is
So,
a prophecy. He literally says it is.
Matthew. Okay,
You might read you Matthew?
sure.
Okay. Well, in Matthew chapter 21, verse 4, it says, "This took place to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet. Tell the daughter of Zion, look, your king is coming to you, humble and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." So Matthew is literally calling this a fulfilled prophecy, right?
Yeah,
So you
but
don't agree with Matthew?
the apostles have been wrong about things. Like they've made mistakes. Like Peter, you know
Oh,
the story of Peter
shit.
crowing before the rooster. You know the story of Peter crowing before the rooster. He said he wouldn't, and then he did.
Oh,
So
okay.
humans can make errors, and Jesus has openly acknowledged that, and even went to the extent to prove it at some point.
Okay. So you don't think this is a fulfilled prophecy? Matthew's wrong here.
I'd have to examine the text. Like you, I want to be as honest as possible. At least I hope that's
Okay.
your goal.
I just assumed you assumed the gospels were true. So, I mean,
Okay.
if you already agree
Well,
they're
it
not true,
is.
my next question will be, how do you know any of this is true?
How do I know any of this is true? Okay, so the
Yeah, if
account
you're
them
not even
actually writing
agreeing
it.
with the gospels, then it's a little questionable here.
Well, it's like this. We both agree that politics happen, but we don't know actually everything that happened. We know Biden sniffed children on TV. We just don't know how he like decided to do things inside his office. So, in the same way, we know that things happened and we know the events and everything that happened. The only thing that we're debating is whether Jesus was God or if he
It doesn't
was
sound like
fulfilling
you
the Messiah.
sound like you fulfilled prophecies.
Okay,
Because
so
so
let's go to
far
the
you've said
prophecy.
Psalm 22 is a prophecy, and the actual prophecy that the New Testament says is a prophecy you've disagreed with. So this is a little confusing to me.
Well, I'm saying that we have to examine the text because you're trying to trap me in a line of questions. But let's go ahead and examine the text,
I was
and we'll
just
see if
asking
it's
you if it's
prophecy.
true. Like,
Do I believe that a
well,
prophecy
I'll
is
just go
true?
ahead and tell you, I definitely don't think Jesus fulfilled this prophecy. I think Matthew is
Okay,
saying
so
he
let's read the
did, but if
prophecy.
you actually read Luke, it definitely doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen in Luke.
Right.
Okay, so let's say that we're two people and we're writing down events. We both have clipboards. Are we going to write down the exact same things?
No, but if I write down that something happens, you write down something else happens, that means we have contradictory accounts, right?
So you're saying there is a different event at the exact same time.
Do it.
So you're saying there was a different event that happened, and they're both recording different occurrences of what happened when Jesus wrote in.
No, I'm saying we can be telling the same story and give
Uh-huh.
different details, but still add up to the actual story. What we
Yeah.
can't do, like say you and I both see the same car crash, right? Say I
hmm
say it wasn't a car, it was a bicycle, and you say it was a semi truck. Like one of us is wrong, right?
It depends, because
We
it's like,
can't both be
what-
right if we're given contradictory details such as that.
okay, so let me explain. So there's an account where where Mary and Mary Magdalene are going to the tomb. Now, the text fulfills in most, if not all, the four accounts which directly address this situation, because like they don't have to write down everything. They put trust in each other that they're gonna write down everything that they need to. So they wrote down that Mary went in, and then they also, in a different account, wrote that Mary and Magdalene. And then they wrote that, in addition to these, in a separate account, that all of these, including the other women and the one that only said that one or two came in, they're all given an account of multiple women. They just don't list all the women. It's like they're spotlighting everything. So this
Yeah, that's
thing
fine. I don't
in
have a
Luke.
problem with that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and read the messianic prophecy, or what you consider to be a prophecy that he doesn't, and we can address it.
Well, Matthew says it's a prophecy. That's how I'm proving the Gospels aren't true here. They don't know what they're
Well, yeah,
talking
it could
about.
be a prophecy, but we're just going to read it though.
Well, Matthew says it is. That's why I'm using this example. Because Matthew
Okay,
says this
so
is
let's
a
read it.
prophecy fulfilled. Luke tells the same story, but it's definitely not fulfilled in Luke. That's why I'm putting these things at odds together to discredit both of them.
But you just said you were okay with someone not giving like every single detail because someone
As
wrote it
long
down.
as it's not a contradictory account. Like saying, like, let me try to think of a,
Let me
like,
just get the.
like if one passage says, God incited David to do this, right? And another passage says, the Lord provoked David to do this. Like they're using different words there, but they're basically saying the same thing. They're saying God made David do something, but they're just using different words. I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is one gospel saying 5 women went to meet Jesus at the tomb, and another one saying 150 men went to meet Jesus at the tomb. Like that's a major difference. You know what I'm saying? You can't reconcile that.
Yeah.
That's what
So
I'm
let's.
aiming at here. Is there irreconcilable differences?
Mhm. So what's are you talking about Zechariah 2? No, Zechariah 9.
Zechariah 9. Yeah.
All right. I don't know why we
Yeah,
had
that's the
to.
prophecy that Matthew is quoting and saying is fulfilled here.
Okay. So let me read it, and then
But
we'll
I
go
mean,
to the
we can
text
just
in
move on
Matthew.
to another one if you don't think he fulfilled this anyway. Because, I mean, if you're just going to agree with me after all this, I don't see much of the point.
Well, that's why we're doing this. We're doing this for the people so they know what to say and what not to say.
No,
Oh,
I'm
rejoice
doing
a
it to
great
debate
deal.
you. Like, the people are watching, but I don't want to talk about stuff and end up agreeing with somebody ultimately.
Okay. So
We
I'm
can do
not
a
seeing
different
how he
one
did.
if you already agree with me on this one. I've got a whole bunch I can show you.
No, I don't agree with you. That's why we're even debating this
Okay,
in
so
the
you
first
do
place.
think that this is a prophecy Jesus is fulfilling then, right?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me how it
Okay,
is. Then.
perfect. Great. All right. Rejoice greatly, O daughter Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter Jerusalem. Your king comes to you, triumphant and victorious is he. Riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. Says he will cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off, and he shall command peace to the nations, and his dominion shall be from the
Mm.
river to the sea to the ends of the earth. That's the first part of this prophecy, right? So
Yeah.
Jesus rode a donkey. Did Jesus cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the war horse from Jerusalem, and was the battle bow cut off?
Okay, so we'd have to decide what the horse from Jerusalem is. Now, you and I both
The
know the
war
Bible
horse.
is extremely metaphorical.
That
Yeah,
means
the
it's going
horse.
to end all war in Jerusalem, is what that means. That's what all
No,
these
that's
Old
not.
Testament.
Does it say all war?
Yes, it does. It
It
says
does.
he will
Where?
cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off. That means he is going to end war
Was
in
there a war in
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem?
And it says he shall command peace to the nations.
Does it say? And I just want to clear up. Does it say that it's talking about war?
Yeah. Do you know what war horses
It
are
does.
and battle bows and chariots? Do you know what those are for?
Yeah, I know what those are for, but does it say that? Does it say war horse in every
Yeah, it
translation, or do I
says
need
war horse, Ephraim, and battle bow.
Okay, so
It
let's
says war
go to
horse
the
in
Greek
every
manual.
proper Hebrew translation.
Actually, it says war horse in every Hebrew translation.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if some
So
traditional Bibles tried to take this out because Jesus clearly didn't end all war in Jerusalem. So I can picture them trying to drop that types of language there.
here we go with these assumptions. You say it's about wars, right? And then
Yeah,
whenever
that's
we
what
go,
battle bows, war horses. Yeah, I can
so
safely
it's
assume this is about
specifically
war.
talking about war within the verse talking about Bethlehem or Jerusalem. It's specifically talking
He
about
will
wars, and it
cut off
clarifies
the
that it's actually
chariot
talking
from
about
Ephraim
wars.
and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the
It
battle bow shall
specifically
be cut
says.
off.
So it specifically says that it's talking about war, not just an assumption that you've made based on a word that's used
I
for a
mean,
metaphor.
you hear what I'm saying,
So
right? You hear the words
does
of the
the
book.
entire country or land of Ephraim have a giant chariot that it uses, or is there a horse the size of Jerusalem?
Can you actually argue in good faith here?
We are
I'm
arguing,
starting to
but
not
you're
even take
kind
you
of like
serious.
supposing
Do
something,
I
and then you're
think
not
that
really.
Jerusalem has one giant chariot they use? Of course I do.
Jerusalem has a chariot. I thought Ephraim had the chariot.
Yep, one giant chariot. That's what you asked me if I
It does.
believe.
Where is it? Where is it?
Yep. Oh, I disappeared.
So you're saying you believe something, you don't have any actual proof for it,
No,
just
I'm
like how
saying
you
you're
said
asking
it was
nonsensical
150.
questions, and I'm not even taking you in good faith anymore. So try to stay on track here.
Really? We are
How are you
staying
going
on
to
track, but
say
you're
that
saying
I'm
it's
assuming
about
this
war
is
when
about
you're not.
war based on the words like chariot from Ephraim and war horse from Jerusalem and battle bow? Like, what do you think those things are?
Right. So every time in the book of Psalms that it says somebody was stuck
We're
with the
talking about
arrows of the
Zechariah.
Lord, or of his arrows, it's specific. No, because we're gonna do this. Since you want to say that the metaphors aren't metaphors, is it that every time the Bible says that someone was stuck with the arrows
Oh,
of
you
God,
said this is a
or that
metaphor.
his mighty fire encamped around
What's this
everyone?
metaphorical
Is
for?
there a rhetorical sense? Huh?
What's it metaphorical for?
What is this metaphorical for?
Yeah, you said it's metaphorical. What is it metaphorical for?
So what do you generally use a war horse for?
War.
War, right?
Yeah.
So is it talking about a literal war, or is it just talking about fighting?
Sounds like it's talking about war to me. Yeah.
You say it's a war horse.
You know
Are
this
war
is
horses
ancient
only used
Israel,
for war?
right? Like war abound in these days. It was constant. You know that, right?
Yeah, but is there a constant use of war horses only in wars, or is it used for fightings and mini battles?
I'm sure they used it to pull a wagon here and there, but a war horse is for war.
So it's for war. That doesn't mean it's always used for that. Just how we use the U.S. political
Why would you think it's
system
being
can still
used for anything else in this context?
because
For
where
I
is
have bent
Ephraim's
Judah
chariot?
as my bow. I have made Ephraim its arrow. I will rouse your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece, and wield you like a warrior's sword.
Right. So does that
Yeah.
specifically detail physical fighting, or does that mean spiritual warfare?
Hell yeah! What else would it be talking about?
Spiritual warfare, as it says all across the Bible. When it
All right,
says
so
that
the
we're going
start of this chapter is judgment on Israel's enemies. You know that, right?
yeah, yeah.
How could this be talking about anything but war?
So this is talking about war, as it says literally. But when it says, but in Psalm
According to
22,
you, it's
when it doesn't
metaphorical.
say
I
that,
just don't understand what it would be metaphorical for.
we're just going to draw a parallel because I've had to deal with a few things. So when it says that it's not talking about a lament in David, or in David's Psalm 22, you say it's talking about a lamentation. But whenever it's talking about war, right? It's now literal. So was Psalm 22 talking about
Yeah, we
David?
know what's
Or
literal
was it
and what's metaphorical in these books. This is clearly about war. Literal war.
okay? Okay. So Psalm 22 was unliteral, right? And you said that it was a lamentation, even though it
No,
doesn't
he
say
was
that.
literally
Within the
surrounded by
actual-
enemies.
yes, within the
He was
actual verses, it
lamenting to
doesn't say it's
God.
lamentation. But this is talking literally because you said it so. So what is their standard for saying that Psalm 22 was just metaphorical and it's talking about David? Or it was
Say that
literal
last
and
part
it's
again.
talking about- What is your standard? And what is your reason for saying that Psalm 22, when it doesn't say it's a lamentation?
That's a great example. So he's literally surrounded by enemies, and he's metaphorically referring to them as animals. He says, bulls encircle me, right? So bulls is
So why isn't this
metaphorical
metaphorical?
for soldiers who are literally surrounding him.
So why
I
isn't
don't
this
understand how this, I can't even believe I have to
Why
debate
isn't this
this kind of stuff.
metaphorical?
It
Then you're
should
saying
be
it's
obvious.
literal and it's always about wars. You said it wasn't talking about David as a worm, right? We said it wasn't talking about Jesus as a worm, but this is talking about a war horse literally. Even though we said it was
I'm at,
metaphorical.
oh my
Where's
goodness.
your line? Where's the line for deciding this? Because all I've seen is
I've
your
just
personal
described it
perspective.
to you. He's literally
described
surrounded by
something that you-
armies, right?
Uh-huh. Right?
And he's metaphorically referring to the soldiers as bulls, right?
So the
Bulls
passage is
encircle me.
literal and metaphorical at the same time.
Yeah.
So David was
How
literally
that's not obvious, I just don't understand. Well, I understand. Actually, I do
Where's
understand
your
how it's not
standard for
obvious to
deciding
you because you can't make it literal because you'll lose the debate. So I guess that makes sense.
So where is your standard for deciding what is metaphorical and what is literal? Is that not just a
My
personal
brain?
your brain? So it's a personal opinion.
Yeah, well, it's based
So
on the
you're-
words. That's what I'm describing to you. These words and the
Based on the
information they're
words.
given have actual meanings.
Right.
Right.
So we're gonna say, for your sake, that we're not gonna interject personally because you can't prove your standard. You don't have a standard aside from your personal
I can just
opinion.
read the words and they make
We can
perfect
read
sense
the
to
words,
me.
right? We can read the words, right?
Please
So
do,
David-
Dr. Josh. We have an actual Near Eastern PhD from Johns Hopkins up in here. I think he could explain this a little better than me.
I feel like you are
You
using.
want to
a
ask
personal
an actual Assyriologist?
Sure.
I'm
But
curious
those
to
are
see
biased
who the expert might agree with.
So these are biased opinions, right? Because everyone is being subjective to their own opinions. Like
That's
you said your
sure.
brain, right? That was your main defense.
But
So
I
why
think
should
my
I
opinion
care about
is
anything
far
that he
stronger
says if
than
he's
yours
just gonna
based on the actual
advise
words
you?
and the context here.
Based on the actual words, and according only to the grammar, not to your understanding, was David a worm or was he a man?
He was calling himself, he was comparing
He was
himself
calling
to a
himself a
worm.
worm,
I was
right? So
asking
is
if
he a
Jesus
worm?
called himself a worm in comparison in the same way.
So
Anyway,
is he a
we'll
worm?
let Dr. Josh educate you
So
on what's
right,
going
we're
on
gonna
here.
dodge. We're gonna dodge.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Joshua,
Well,
how you
we
doing?
can come back to me, but we have an actual expert up here with a PhD on this stuff. So
Oh, I mean, I don't think this one requires. Actually, I think it just requires reading the chapter from the beginning. I think it'll answer itself by about verse 3. So that's all I wanted to
Verse
say
3?
is just maybe just start reading from verse 1,
Okay.
and it'll
So the burden
sort of resolve itself.
So the burden of the word of the Lord in the land of Hadrak, or Hadrak, Damascus shall be the rest of the world, the rest of thereof. When the eyes of men, as of all tribes of Israel, shall be towards the Lord, and Hamath also shall border thereby. Tyrus Zidon, though it be very wise. Wait, what? Bro, I just
You might want to read it in a translation that you can understand.
I can understand this. It's just stupid to read.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's,
it's
it's
stupid to
stupid to
read the
read the
Bible?
Bible.
Wow.
It's
No,
interesting.
it's stupid to read, as in like we both agree that reading pig
Yeah,
Latin
yeah.
would be stupid, right?
Apostate. Maybe it would just be good for you to read it.
Yeah, let me do it.
Right, so that I can get some
I don't find it
understandings.
that confusing. I'll start at verse 3 here. It says, Tyre has built itself a rampart and heaped up silver like dust and gold like the dirt of the streets. But now the Lord will strip it of its possessions and hurl its wealth into the sea, and it shall be devoured by fire. Ashkelon shall see it and be afraid. Gaza too, and shall writhe in anguish. Ekron also, because of its hopes, are withered. The king shall perish from Gaza. Ashkelon shall be uninhabited. A mongrel people shall settle in Ashdod, and I will make an end to the pride of Philistia. I will take away its blood from its mouth, and its abominations from between its teeth. It too shall be a remnant of our God. It shall be like a clan in Judah, and Ekron shall be like the Jebusites. Then I will encamp at my house as a guard, so that no one shall march to and fro. No oppressor shall again overrun them, for now I have seen with my own eyes. So you don't think ramparts and stuff like that are suggesting a war here?
I mean, you could say that metaphorically, but we could also go with the same thing that you did earlier, where you suggested it was literally calling Jesus a worm, and then whenever it was talking about David, you
I
wanted to
didn't say
retract.
it was literally calling Jesus
No,
a
no,
worm.
because you did. You said Jesus is a
No, I
Yeah,
worm.
didn't.
Elijah.
I said you were
I
trying
think
to.
Elijah.
Nah, because you said
I
David
think
wasn't real, and then you said
Elijah.
David was
Hey,
real.
hey, don't panic.
I'm
I
not
think that
panicking.
okay, then let me talk. I think the burden is going to be on you here. If you're going to read one of the oracles against the nations, which is a standard trope in prophetic texts, if
Right.
you're going to try to read this as some sort of spiritual warfare metaphor, so how would you make that argument? Pretend that you're standing at the Society of Biblical Literature and you're presenting your paper, right? You're going to look at these scholars that are sitting out there in the audience and say, yeah, Zechariah 9, this is about spiritual warfare. So go ahead, make your argument.
Okay. First of all, I want to address all the people in the chat, and we can get back to the actual conversation in a second. If
Don't
any
worry
of
about
you
the
are
chat,
going
man.
to
They're
try,
talking shit about both of us.
all right, sure.
Yeah, just stick with
Sure.
the paper of the prophecy here. How's this metaphorical look?
All right. So in the same way that most of the Bible is in metaphors, the same way it said it metaphorically destroyed the Amalekites, even though they appeared later in the text. The same way it metaphorically describes the beginning of
Why
the
would
New
you think that
Testament.
1 Samuel 15 is a metaphor?
What's in 1 Samuel 15?
The thing that you just said about the
I don't
Amalekites.
remember. I don't
The
remember
slaughter of the
the literal
Amalekites.
numbers. I remember text stories. I don't think we
Okay,
remember.
so why would you think was Saul metaphorically a king? Was the kingdom metaphorically taken from Saul? I don't understand. What's the
Did I
metaphor?
mention Saul?
Do you know the story of the Amalekites that you're
The
referencing
Amalekite.
as your
Okay.
argument?
Okay. Listen. This is a 1,000-page book. I don't read like that.
Elijah, if you're going to marshal a text as part of your argument, might I
Yeah.
suggest that you know something about it?
No. Honestly, I agree with you,
I mean,
but I just don't.
if you want to show your ass out here, that's okay. I'm trying to help you not do
No,
that.
that's gay. I'm not gay, bro. I don't swing that way.
Do you
I
know what it
don't.
means? Do you know what it means to, well, don't knock it till you try it, but do you know what it
I don't.
means
I
to
don't
show
think. I
your
don't think
He's
that.
ass?
confused on metaphors, Dr. Josh. Be
Yeah,
careful.
it's
No,
okay.
I'm
That's
not
okay.
confused on metaphors. You confuse Jesus as
Words
a
is
metaphor. That
hard.
was one of your
Words
points,
is
wasn't
hard,
it?
Elijah. Yeah, words is hard. So are you conceding the point that you don't actually have an argument for Zechariah
Do I
9 being
don't
a
that
metaphor?
I don't actually have an argument? Okay, so how about we
That
go back
is,
to Psalm 22 with you since you
no,
seem
no,
more
no,
interested?
no, no.
No, you don't want to
Zechariah
go back
9.
to
Do you
Psalm
remember
22?
the passage
You
that we
don't
were
want to
talking
do
about?
that. He'll
Zechariah
make you look
9?
worse than I did.
Mr. Apostate, Mr. Apostate. I don't think you calling
Sir,
Jesus a worm is a very
I
logical
think
argument.
that quote unquote Mr. Apostate would agree that you should probably concede first that Zechariah 9, you don't have an argument for why it's a
I do have an
metaphor. Then
argument.
he
You
can,
just don't agree with what I'm saying,
then
and it's totally
please
fine.
give the argument because all you said was the Amalekites in 1 Samuel 15, we all know that's a metaphor. Well, nobody knows that's a metaphor. So that's not really an
Nobody
argument.
knows that's a metaphor. So why did it appear? Why did the Amalekites appear later in the biblical text after they were
Well, that's
supposedly destroyed and
is that a real is that a real question?
Yeah, that's a real question. Why did they appear
Okay, then
later?
it's
If
then
they
it's an
genocided them?
editorial then it's an editorial
What's an
problem,
editorial?
right?
Define.
Do you know what an editor is of the biblical
Sir, I'm
text?
asking words about English. Nobody actually knows what English words mean. We just assume from modern understandings.
Well, I don't know why you're asking me for definitions
I'm
of
asking you
English
because
words
you
then.
make terms. Everybody makes their terms. Like people see an opinion as a fact, and some people, according to like the actual definition, say opinion is an unfactual an unfactual
Sorry,
statement.
unfictual. Okay, yeah,
Unfactual. I'm autistic.
okay, yeah. So the biblical texts have been subjected historically to a great deal of editorial redaction. This is sort of standard. If you were standing up at the Society of Biblical Literature, you would have to know this stuff, right? If you're gonna make this argument. So when you look at the books of First and Second Samuel or First and Second Kings or any part of the Deuteronomistic history, they've been subjected to a great deal of redaction, right? Editorial history. It's sort of part of the discussion. So if you're going to make an argument that First Samuel 15 is metaphorical because the Amalekites show back up in chapters 29 and in the beginning of Second Samuel, I mean, that's not a very good argument for it being metaphorical.
I'm
Do you
sorry,
understand what I'm saying?
I was distracted by the chat.
Right. I mean, it sounds like you just didn't understand what I said.
No, I was literally paying attention to the chat. Someone said something about a Shrek Bible.
So, just out of curiosity, did you know that slingers are a literal military unit in the ancient world?
I don't care what they did. They're evil, bro.
No, I'm asking you if you
Israelites
know there
are
were a literal military units. That's what David was. He was a
Slingers.
slinger. He killed Goliath with a slingshot, right?
swingers or slingers, like with the wax
Slingers,
thing?
sling it.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were saying
That was an
swingers.
actual.
I
That
thought-
was, those were literal military units, right?
yeah, because it describes what they were doing.
Okay, so in verse 15 of Zechariah 9, it says, "They shall consume and conquer the slingers, and they shall drink their blood like wine and be full like a bowl, drenched like the corners of an altar." So we're talking about
Sounds
a
like-
literal military unit there, aren't we?
Yeah, it sounds like something the pagans would do.
So just so that I'm clear, in the metaphor, they're using simile. So they're using simile to describe an already metaphorical. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I said that with my tongue firmly set in my cheek, by the way.
What?
You might want to just pick up a book on I don't know, idioms or normal parts of speech.
Parts of speech.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm literally my brain is literally blanking out trying to listen to you.
I mean, I think that's a you problem.
Wow.
It is. Okay,
Bro, I
and
don't even have a
with that
middle
being said,
school
I think we should
education,
come
and
back.
I understand this stuff just fine. It's crazy to me that other people don't have at least my level of understanding, and it seems to
Your
make
level of
perfect sense to me.
understanding is suggesting personal opinions as facts. And then whenever
No,
we
it's
actually
not.
go to the text,
That's just you
No,
lying
it's just
again.
like that.
You're lying now. You're bearing
Then
false
you
witness.
You
Okay,
recognize
okay.
that the
So
only
let's-
time that I have heard you guys directly go to the text here in any meaningful way was Zechariah 9.
What about Psalm? Were you there for the Psalms argument?
No, that's why I said since I've been here, right?
You don't understand why I'm saying he was using personal opinions then.
Well, I mean, I know from the time that I've been here for the last 15 minutes that the time that we've gone to the text, you've read it, said it was dumb because I think you didn't understand
No,
it.
I said reading, actually reading Old English and Shakespearean language.
Well, why
is
were you
sometimes-
reading it then? Why didn't you read it in
Because
a more modern translation?
Because I like the King James version.
Well, you said it was
Well,
dumb.
you stumbled on some words and then hollered, "This is stupid," and stopped. Oh my God, man. So,
stress my brain so it can get better over time. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
do you need
So
a minute?
with
Do you need to take a little break, or?
Yeah, I think my brain is being I don't.
Overloaded with actual information. I get it. Yeah.
Okay, question. Just so I can like refresh. Do you like sour cream on tacos?
Not really.
Huh. All right. We can go back to the
I do like
argument then.
tacos though.
I also like tacos. You like briskets or you like ground beef tacos?
I like both actually. Probably ground beef if I had to pick though.
I think we could be
Lots of
friends.
cheese.
Maybe not. My phone's like, no! I'll talk to you at some point.
Oh, I don't know if that meant he was leaving or what. Well, I thought we was actually going to get to my in the same way I have a unique thing about the letter to the exiles that I think discredits Daniel. I have a one about the New Testament too that I think discredits Jesus, but it's super funny though. But we didn't get there.
It always tickles me um, to, to hear apologists like say things like 10 toes down, right, with their full chest about passages that they clearly have not read, or if they have, they don't remember. And so they're just sort of like on the fly trying to throw things up against the wall to see if anything sticks. And I mean, I get it because it seems worse to just say, I don't know. I get that. But I don't know, it never comes across well.
It's just I don't even know what to do with it sometimes. I mean, you read a passage, you read the words, and it says, "He will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the war horse from Jerusalem, and the battle bow shall be cut off." You say, "What is that talking about?" And they're like, "Anything but war." It can't be talking
Yeah, I
about
mean, this
war.
is like this sort of thing is very, very common in the prophet. I mean, you know this, but just for maybe anybody listening that doesn't, you know, part of the prophetic tradition, like part of the prophetic office, and we see it in places like 1 Kings 22 with Micaiah ben Imlah, right? The story you were talking about the other day. Like the
Hmm.
prophets are there very often, particularly when they work for the king, to sort of, I don't know. John Collins called it doing like an ancient pep rally. That's a pretty good description. They say things like, "You, O king, will go out and you will destroy, and you'll destroy this nation that's on the north, and this nation that's on your, you know, your east border, and this other nation." And if you read, they call these things when they find their final form in the biblical text, they refer to them as the oracles against the nations. Ezekiel 26 is part of a group of texts that are part of the oracles against the nations. That those are, of course, against Tyre. Um, but they're just like these prophetic sort of, I don't know, sometimes kind of templated almost. Uh,
Right.
you know, like declarations of, you know, coming victory against the foes, and if you watch them, you know, Tyre and Sidon up to the northwest, and then like it'll sometimes just kind of go counterclockwise. It'll go around the border, like Edom and Moab, and you know, and they'll talk about Gaza, and so they're kind of going around in a circle around the, you know, the different nations that are all around them. And so, like, I get that it's certainly in poetic language, right? It's an elevated prose, if nothing else. But you have to have a reason to think that the prophets are not talking about the actual people of Gaza or the actual people of Ekron, you know, or of Tyre and
Yeah.
Sidon, but instead talking about like demons. Like you have to have an argument for that.
Yeah, I try to argue the same thing, like for Isaiah chapter 9, where it's like, what do you call them? Enthronement prophecies. I was like, that's why they're saying all these words and giving all these names. That's exactly what that is. That's why they're calling all this stuff out, because this child has been born, but this child is that child, not this child 700 years later. You know what I mean? They're not doing an enthronement ritual on
Yeah.
a
And
far flung first century person.
I think this is one of the downsides of like such a sharp reaction to things like form criticism, because people hear form criticism. Oh my gosh, it's that's so old, or it's breaking but the figuring out what or determining what the texts were actually used for in their original context is a really important thing. So, knowing, hey, this psalm was one of the Psalms of the Ascent, right? So people going up to Jerusalem, like this is how they used it in their setting in life, right? This is how they were actually used, or an enthronement, like these are, or this is part of the oracles against the nations, whatever. Like these are, this is the way that it actually functioned. Just like if somebody found a prayer like an invocation for I don't know, like a dinner or something, um, or Thanksgiving. I don't know, like 1,000 years from now, like, wow, look at this prayer. This must be a prophecy. It's like, well, maybe, but like, it looks like it was actually used as a like an opening prayer before Thanksgiving meal, or you can see it there. Thank you, Lord, for this food on this day of Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. Like, there's an actual function of that text in its original context. But anyway,
Yeah, it's, big metaphor, But I thought we was gonna get here, but just in case anybody was wondering where I was trying to go with that, I was trying to actually run my argument that I hadn't got to use in quite a while. But I have one here that I try to base on the context of Luke chapter 19. So Matthew straight up says Jesus is fulfilling this prophecy of the coming king in Zechariah 9, riding the donkey into Jerusalem, right? So Matthew says it happens. Zechariah says it's about the king who's going to come and command peace. Like those are the two most important things there. The king, the peace, the king, the peace. So let's remember that. So if we go to Luke chapter 19, it starts off, he meets the short little tax collector, Zacchaeus, right? And he's chilling with him. And this is right before they get to Jerusalem. So listen to the very start and the very end of the parable that Jesus tells, because that's real important to my argument here as well. Right before Jesus rides this donkey, because in Jesus's mind, he thinks he's about to be the king of the world. And that's important here. So in the parable, it says, as they were listening to this, he went on to tell a parable because he was near Jerusalem and because they supposed that the kingdom of God was to appear immediately. Very, very important on that part. The kingdom of God is going to appear immediately. So at the end of that, he's telling a parable about a ruler that's going to run off and come back and claim his rulership. Most scholars say that this is about the second coming, which does make kind of perfect metaphorical sense. But I think it makes perfect literal sense that Jesus is telling this parable like as a reciprocal parable. And the very last sentence of it says, but as for these enemies of mine who did not want me to rule over them, bring them here and slaughter them in my presence. So Jesus thinks he's about to be king of the world. He tells a parable that says when he thinks the kingdom of God is going to come immediately and slaughter enemies who won't accept me. Anyway, at the very end of it, in Luke chapter 19, this is how it ends. Right after he's still on the donkey at this point, but it says, as he came near and saw the city, he wept over it, saying, if you, even you, had only recognized on this day the things that make for peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes, because you did not recognize the time of your visitation from God. So Jesus in his head thought he was going to get on a donkey and ride into Jerusalem and fill a prophecy about being king of the world and commanding peace to the rest of the world. And what happens in Luke chapter 19? He starts crying and blames all the people that this prophecy didn't happen because they didn't recognize their time for peace. And Jesus certainly was a king. So, fun argument there. Luke says this is a prophecy being fulfilled, or Matthew says this is a prophecy being fulfilled. Luke retells the story and it's clearly not fulfilled. So that's pretty damn hilarious to me. Anyway. Oh, he dropped back there. Shit. All right. Well, with that out of the way, just didn't want to keep anybody a cliffhanger there because that hadn't been coming up a lot. So that's what that is. Let's see here. What does that say? Yes, correct. Thank you there, Rick. Yeah, say whatever you want, but you got to keep it TikTok appropriate. Unfortunately, I have no control over that, and I haven't figured out how to stream on YouTube yet. So, all right, well, we got 12 guests in the queue, so let me start trying to bring them up, and we'll move on to the next one. Maybe somebody can address actual words in their context here. That would be great. That's why I'm saying I'm simple. I don't speak Hebrew. I don't know fancy terminologies. All I know is the actual context and what the words are telling you. You do not have to be a genius to understand this stuff. It's not, especially like in books like Jeremiah and stuff like that. They're extremely straightforward with the wording. You don't have to be a 10-year student to understand what they're talking about. All right. Let's bring, who's next here? Thorn? Some of these have been here for a while, so they're probably not here, so we might have a awkward moment of silence here. Try the next one. How's everybody doing on this fine Sabbath day, by the way? The day that God unalives people for unintentionally picking up sticks on. It's always fun. Let's try the next one. We'll get one in here in a minute. There's still a bunch. All right. Thank you for the likes and screen taps and follows, by the way. It's been a great Sabbath so far. It's been a great Sabbath. Good Lord, we are flying through here. Don't worry, y'all. I'm still clicking on guest. Have to give it a minute, though, because it lags me out sometimes. I want to bring up a person, and the next person pops up after them. Oh, maybe there's one. Or maybe not. Okay. Well, that one was loading in, but not loading in, so let's keep it rolling.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Are you over 18?
Yeah. What's up, bud? How you doing?
Oh, doing well. Thanks for asking. Are you a Christian?
I am a Christian. Yeah. Happy Sabbath, man.
Hey, happy Sabbath. So what's the topic that you want to debate us on today?
I said what?
Bro, you got a lot of chaos around you. You'll have to get word. Oh, that's better.
Yeah, I opened my front door.
Oh, dang.
The long guys are outside.
You live in a protest? Like, goodness gracious.
Yeah. Apparently protest against early morning Saturdays.
Ooh, yeah. Nobody likes the Sabbath. Anyway, so which one of these topics did you want to debate us on today?
Oh no, man. I just want. I like your conversations. Well, I believe that God is a just God. But like one of the things I think like is extremely limiting, and a lot of people's like contextualization of the book is that monolinguistic aspect. Like when you speak multiple languages, like I speak Spanish and English. There's a lot of words that don't translate, right? So like trying to say creep, like a creep in English. If I say creep, that means creep. Like everybody knows what creep means. But in Spanish, there's no word for creep. So you have to be real descriptive and try and come around them words. The second thing is, I think a lot of people who are in Christianity don't put weight in the message of Jesus and instead put weight in like the weight of the Bible. And if you read the Bible,
well,
the apostles,
Bible's where the message comes from.
Yeah, exactly. And when you read
so you
the
kind
Bible,
of have to put weight on the Bible.
Yeah, you have to put weight in the Bible, but you also have to remember that man is fallible, and that man is going to interpret messages the way that they interpret them at the time and the way that they see it through their eyes and through their lens, right?
So did you hear
So
something I mistranslated or didn't understand?
no. I haven't. I've been
Oh,
listening to you, man, and what you're talking about is you're using the English language and being really literal and moving forward, and that's 100% correct. You can't do nothing else other than when you read the book, which is why Martin Luther, when it was written in Latin, this is why Martin Luther, you know what I'm saying, went and did what he did to translate it. Said that the common farm boy is going to be, more better than your priest, right? So with religion, like Jesus Christ, even in his book, says he's against religion, right? Um, and not for that for religion, right? And that's the messages that like people can get behind. So with organized religion, it is what it is. Faith is what you believe in. But as God being a just God, there's can the sun, shine dark? Like it can't be, right? There's the sun and then there's light and there's dark. Um, and with the Bible, that's like the more or less what it is, right? So trying to
yeah.
explain. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, did you disagree with anything I said there?
With anything that you said, I haven't. I just jumped in your
Yeah.
stream. I was listening from like 2 days ago, man, and you popped up on my live.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Well, I'm saying why bring up the language thing if you agreed with everything I said?
Oh no, I don't agree with everything you said. I'm just saying,
Oh, well, what's something you disagree with?
huh?
What's something you disagree with then?
That God is evil. Hold on one second. It's gonna get loud. Guy's got a leaf blower. All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. So, what if God does evil stuff? That would make him evil, right? Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're dropping out, buddy. You can come back up when you get a little signal there, but it sounded like you were about to start driving, so I had to drop you. We heard your car door, and I thought I heard keys jingling in the thingy there. But let me give him a second. You can come back up as long as you're not driving and you're in a quiet spot. Give him just a second, then we're going to move on to the next person there. So cool, Josh. Dr. Josh came back up. That's my new best friend, and and so sometimes co-host. It's pretty amazing. On top of the world there. Actually, I have two new best friends named Joshua. One's a Christian and one is not, so that's pretty cool. I get the best of both worlds. I got two Joshua best friends. All right, let me try them again here.
Hey, can you hear me better now? My wife's driving. But I am in a car.
Oh yeah, that's fine as long as somebody else is driving. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what if God does evil stuff that would make him evil, right?
What's evil?
I don't know. Like he told David to go and count the people of Israel, and when he did it, God got mad at him, and he unalived 70,000 people as a result. You don't think that's evil?
So the message is that he unalived. Which one are you speaking of? Because I'm not that versed in the David ones, right?
Well, he told David to take a census and go count the people, and David did it. It's in 2 Samuel chapter 24, and apparently that was the wrong answer, and God unalived 70,000 Israelites as a result.
What was the reasoning? So I get there's absolutes, right? And there's just and there's good, and there's for the wages of sin is death, and that means for the slightest smite against whatever deserves death.
Well, this is just he told David to go count the people of Israel, and David did it, and apparently that was wrong. So God unalived 70,000 people as a result, even though David claims responsibility and literally says, "This is my sin. Why aren't you punishing me? You're punishing all these other people." Like, that makes God evil, right?
I'm just unfamiliar on that book.
Oh. Well, how about this? I'll make it way more easier. If God was unaliving babies and having women raped for any reason, would that be okay?
Yeah, that's not good. That's not okay.
Okay, so God
But
is
see,
evil
but see,
then. Okay,
so this is where it goes back into who wrote those down? Was that God or was that man?
it was the prophet back in the day.
Well, but is he a man or is he God?
He's a man.
So as a man being selfish in nature and being who he is, if he decides that he wants to put something in there that he feels is right, does he put it in there?
I don't know, does he?
I mean, I would suggest that he probably would. This is why
Well,
I
I would
said
suggest there's no reason to believe any of this because it's just a bunch of corrupted evil nonsense.
so that's where you ever seen like school those informational videos that they used to show us in school, like when we were kids, for like government and like you remember Schoolhouse Rock and shit, PBS and all that. Conjunction,
Yeah.
junction, what's your function?
Yeah.
So you remember why they showed us those and why we engaged? We engaged as children because we were having fun. Like we were like, oh, they're showing us a fun little video. You know what I'm saying? And they were showing us something that was educating us. So this is where like I don't believe that man is fallible. And this is where I think that you have to, like, if you have encounters with the Holy Spirit and you read the
So
Bible,
how do you know
and
any of it's true? It's all guys wrote it all. How do you know any of it's true?
you don't.
Then why believe it?
So this is where I went into and found that Jesus Christ was a historical figure. And then like I've had personal encounters with my Holy Spirit and other deities as well, which has kind of shattered my whole.
So I could just totally throw the Bible in the garbage and it wouldn't affect your religion.
I mean, yeah, you could totally throw the Bible in the garbage as 100%. I mean, I believe a lot in the Didache. There's so many religious manuscripts that didn't make canon that I put a lot of weight into because it talks about the peace,
Well,
the prosperity.
I just use Bible-based arguments here. Like I disproved the Bible. So I mean, if that don't mean anything to you, then we really don't have much to debate. I don't think.
Yeah, well, like the Bible is like a manuscript that was put together 300 years after Jesus Christ walked this earth, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe not all
Right.
of it, but
Well, I mean, that's the Pope Constantine, right? So Pope Constantine, 300 AD, found
well, he didn't write any Gospels though.
No, he didn't. But the Knights of Genesea came together and they decided what was gospel and what was not. That's why the Torah differs from the Old Testament.
That's not what the Council of Nicaea was.
Yeah, it was.
They were debating the divinity of Jesus at the Council of Nicaea.
And
It wasn't. They wasn't deciding canon. There's
and-
transcripts of it.
Yeah, and also which books were going to be allowed into the Bible.
No, they never
the
talked
creation
about
of the
that.
Apocrypha.
Nope.
They didn't
That
create
was
the
not at the
Apocrypha.
Council of Nicaea. No.
Okay. I could be wrong, man.
I have no idea why people think that, but it actually seems to be a really common misconception. But I have no idea where it comes from.
Yeah, so Christianity wasn't founded 300 years after the official.
No, Constantine
Catholic-
legalized it, but it wasn't even made the official religion of the Roman Empire until I don't know, 50 more years after that.
So 350 years at AD, right?
Well, that's when it was legalized and made the state religion. But the Gospels they've already been around for quite a long time.
Who
Like the Council of
organized the-
Nicaea only debated the divinity of Jesus. Like one
Okay.
side was arguing he was a man, one side arguing was he was God. So the ultimate conclusion was, hey, he's both. Yeah, it's great.
He's a historical context, though. We can agree that he's a historical figure.
He was probably a real figure, I think.
He was.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of agnostic historians and historical context that Jesus Christ, the human, was an actual person in that area
really.
at that time.
No, it's a scholarly consensus that he was a real figure, but there's
Based off of-
scant evidence for that, actually.
But we have more evidence of Jesus Christ in that area than we have of the emperors of Rome and the lineage of those.
No, we don't. Look, I got a Roman denarius right here with Emperor Vespasian on it. I wish you could see it.
Yeah. That's
Look,
I'm
that's
talking-
Vespasian. This is better proof of Vespasian than
written
Jesus
written
has of Jesus.
the written context, right? Like the written manuals and the genealogies and what survived through
No,
centuries.
not so sure about that. Look, here's one for Alexander.
No, I get you got coins.
To Drachm.
Yeah.
Damn it, I wish you could see better.
But we're saying that these are so there's a coin that says this person existed. So scholarly consensus says, okay, this person existed. Right?
Well, no, I'm just saying
Coins and writings.
that's evidence for it. I mean, his face is on a coin. That was only certain people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's what, and his name is written through the history books, which is only certain people.
Well, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't expect there to be any history on Jesus, who was just a peasant preacher running around Israel.
But yet there's so much history on him because he
turned the system later though.
He flipped the systems upside down and quite literally like caused like a rebellion against the systems to be.
Well, that's what he was actually crucified for, was sedition unto the Roman Empire. That meant leading an uprising against Rome. But even if it was really minor, and whether he was actually doing it or not, historically is kind of irrelevant. Because in reality, if Pontius Pilate was a real governor in Judea, which I think he was, but the second that a priest or somebody with any sort of power told him and said, hey, there's a guy over here named Jesus making trouble, Pontius Pilate wouldn't have bothered talking to the guy. He would have said,
yeah,
get him out of here. That's it.
So you know, we can that's where this is where I came to, right? I wasn't born a Christian. Like I wasn't raised up a Catholic or anything along those lines. I was very much like Christianity is just a tool that people like to use so they can do whatever the fuck they want Monday through Saturday and then feel good about it on Sunday.
Yeah,
it's like a little
when God unalives people for picking up sticks on Saturdays.
Yeah, like that's all the way bad. You know what I'm saying? I came to my conclusions because like you have to understand, like, I guess in my understanding that there's God, and then there was God who came and walked Jesus, and there's the God that we know today, right? And the difference being that God is absolute and knowing and power, and you can teach hunger, you can teach what hunger is, you can tell somebody and be super descriptive of hunger, but you don't actually know what hunger is until you actually feel it, right? And in the books of Matthew, Luke, and them, when Jesus Christ came, he was tempted, he was hungry.
Yeah, but they're not true, are they?
Huh?
Yeah, but they're not true. We can.
I believe those ones are true. I believe those ones are the written context
of
the written words.
True.
I believe in some. I told you I believe in some of the holy manuscripts, but there's a lot of holy manuscripts
that didn't prove some of what you think's true. It wouldn't affect your belief at all.
But it doesn't change the fact that the Bible is put together by a bunch of people. That's what we were talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Why trust any of it if that's the case? Like, if you can literally just throw the whole Bible in the garbage, why?
Because of my personal experiences. Because of my personal experience with Jesus Christ. Like
exactly.
So
that's why I'm saying I can't argue against that. We really have nothing to debate. Because if I can just prove the Bible's all completely untrue to you and it doesn't mean anything, then there's no point in even debating this, because I can't take away your personal experience.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't believe the Bible is all untrue. I mean, like, I don't think that you can put together 66 books that you're like, hey, these are the most important parts of all the religion that's happened, and discount any other prophet.
Can I show you saying that God is evil that you can't just discredit and say, well, that was probably just a dude writing it down line?
Which book says God is evil? You're talking about Acts.
I'm describing evil acts that God's doing. Yeah. So I mean, how many are do you think all of those are untrue?
How do we know that 70,000 people weren't unalived from a plague that came through here because they were septic? You know?
We don't know. I'm just saying that's what it says happened. To me, that's an evil act if it's true. Don't you agree?
If those acts are true, and he unalived 70,000 people for not the sins of themselves, then yeah. But that's not the entirety. That's not the entire message of the Bible.
But you're just going to say God's all loving because every instance we read of God doing something evil like that, even if you agree with it, you're just going to discredit it by saying it was just a guy who wrote it.
I'm not. Wait, what?
Like, we can read all kind of instances like that where you'll say it. Yeah, if it's true, it was evil, right? Just like that one. But every single one that we'll read, you'll just say, well, it was a guy who wrote it, so it don't matter. Like, you're giving yourself a way out of every single one of them.
Of debating, so the entire message of the Bible is that God is evil?
No,
Or
I'm
is these
saying
specific
every
instances?
time that I show you God doing something evil, you will agree that it's evil if it's true,
Okay,
but
so-
you'll just say, well,
so-
that probably didn't happen. We don't know that happened. That's why I'm
So
saying you're
I-
giving yourself a way out of the argument.
So I can't debate on the second book of Samuel because I don't know the second book of Samuel like that. If you
Which
want to talk
one
on a
can you
different
debate
book,
on? Which one? How about Isaiah?
I'm not versed. I like Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah.
So Isaiah will work?
No. I'm reading you the ones that I really never even like kind of read. Like Ezekiel bringing the bones to
Oh,
life.
You're
Jeremiah.
naming off some really, really important ones.
So
Especially
Jeremiah,
Isaiah,
is like,
because the New Testament's reading off Isaiah constantly.
yeah. So what's evil in Isaiah? Let's talk Isaiah. I don't know.
God has Babylon destroyed, and in verse 16 of chapter 13, he says, their infants
Babylon
will be
was an
dashed to
evil city.
pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered, and their wives raped.
Okay,
So,
so
God's literally
when-
ordering the murder
when
of
was
infants
Isaiah
and the
written?
rape of women.
okay, so when was Isaiah written?
This part was written around the time, this is probably like 750 BCE-ish.
Okay, what were the articles of war in 750 BC?
What does it matter? This is what God's allowing.
With this, so what like this is where the contextualization goes into the book, right? What were the articles of war?
Okay, so the articles of war is you can take plunder and do with it whatever you want. Does that make it right?
As you can take plunder and do it. Is war right by the book of Leviticus?
Exactly. Does that make it white, or does that make it the Bible don't say there's nothing wrong with war?
The Bible goes against murder and
killing when
killing.
they're on the losing end, but don't
The
have a problem.
The Bible
with war.
goes against killing and murder, and the book of Leviticus explicitly talks about you can't touch blood at all without
Other
being
Israelites.
unclean, which is why Sadducees and Pharisees weren't allowed to do anything.
That's other
You
Israelites.
couldn't touch. You couldn't touch any blood. Any blood made you unclean.
Well, whatever. This is still God allowing. It's ordering
so
the
the-
destruction.
so the-
He does
so
it to
the-
the
the-
Israelites too. God's not even
So
picking favorites
this-
necessarily. He brings these same destructions on the Israelites.
So this is once again with man's free will, doing with what it will, going against the testament of God by committing war in the first place. Because war is egregious.
No.
Is egregious and evil, an evil act.
The
What
prophets
is
don't
there
think
any
you have
reason to
free
go to
will.
war?
The prophets don't think you have free will.
Prophets don't think you have free will.
Not in
Where
the
is
Old
that
Testament,
explicit
they
in the
don't.
Bible? Where is that explicit?
Jeremiah explicitly says, "Mortals do not guide their own steps; God does."
Okay, so literal translation instead of taking in a message, right? Because Jesus
What would the
spoke in
message of
literals, or
that
did
be?
Jesus speak in parables?
That was Jeremiah.
I
And what would the
understand
message of
Jeremiah.
that be?
The message of hold on, you broke up a little bit. What'd you say?
I'm saying if that's a metaphorical message, then what is it? When Jeremiah says mortals do not guide their own footsteps, God does. What do you think that means?
So mortals do not guide their own footsteps, God does. You ever made choices that you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this on a limb. I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark. I'm gonna take a shot on faith
Sure.
and follow this intuition.
Yep.
That's where it's saying, you know what I'm saying? Like you can always have the inclination. You have the free will to do with what you want with any inclination, which is the reason why the world's in what it's in, right? You could take a if I told you to go jump off a cliff, you can jump off the cliff or not. You know what I'm saying? But when it's talking about as far as moral, like as far as like God, there's nobody has heard, like the Bible doesn't talk about God speaking to regular people telling them you're gonna walk this way and like you're a puppeteer and you're gonna follow your footsteps. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, he only speaks
Calvinism and
through
hyper Calvinism. Yeah, like that's
God rarely bothers to talk to anybody himself. That would be too easy, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you got to
I
trust
don't-
prophets from 3,000 years ago to be accurately conveying the word of the God, but also
That's exactly what I told you. No, that's
Tons
what
of
we
time,
said
man.
no against. That's
I
what we
know,
said. Like
that's why I'm saying why believe any of it, man. This is crazy. It's
Because like
it's an ancient Israelite God. It's their God in their history.
Jesus
Like,
is
you're trying
not.
to adopt
Jesus
it as
is
your
not.
own.
But
He is.
Jesus is not their God. Jesus is not
Jesus
there.
says,
Is not
I came only for the lost sheep of Israel. Do not go among the
for the.
Samaritans and do not go out to the Gentiles.
So that goes out. So that goes out to the. And then the Gentile asks, yes, but doesn't even the
What does it
crumbs.
say? It says, I came
Doesn't even
only
the.
for the lost sheep
Doesn't even
of
the.
Israel.
Doesn't even the dog get the crumbs, right? And that's why he's the God
Yeah,
of the
that's true.
Gentiles,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
right?
Yeah.
And that's why he says,
Look,
"I
I
tell
do
you, for
think
your
you can make
faith,
an
you are
argument
saved."
that Jesus thought the Gentiles could be saved too, but just like you just said, the Gentiles were dogs, even if they could be saved. And in the book of Isaiah, when the eternal covenant happens and
And
the
it's
day
and
of
he
salvation is achieved, it says the rest of the world, the foreign kings and princes, are going to prostrate
and in the
themselves, and it
book of
says they
Acts
are
when
going
he
to lick the dust
and when,
off the feet of the
you're
Israelites.
talking Old Testament. You're talking
It
Old
doesn't
Testament. I
matter.
told you that. Like
It doesn't
I believe
matter.
in Jesus Christ,
It's the
and
same
it
thing
does
Jesus
matter. It matters
said.
100%. It's
It's the
not
same
because like
thing Jesus
we're
said.
like if you believe in the book of Genesis, then we all come from the tribes of
It's
Adam and
the
Eve, which
same
I do
thing
believe.
Jesus said. The
It's not.
Israelites, everybody else is dogs. That is literally what the Old Testament is saying.
Yeah, and the
That's
New
what it
Testament
means when
comes
it
and brings
says the
out
rest of the world, the Gentiles, are going to lick the dust
and
off
the
the
New
feet of the
Testament comes in
Israelites.
to bring that Jesus Christ is the Savior for all who believe in Him. That's why
Why
it
was
says
Jesus
again. He
calling a
says
woman
again
a
after
dog then?
he's resurrected.
Why was he calling a
After it
woman a
says that
dog
he's been
then?
resurrected.
Okay, so why was he
I
calling
don't.
a woman a
Who did he
dog?
call? Who did he call a dog?
You just said it. You said he called the woman a dog. Give her the breadcrumbs. He called that
No,
lady a
I
dog.
didn't say he called a woman a dog.
You told that
When he was
story.
talking,
That's what that story's about. When you
when
were
he's
saying
talking, it's
pick up
not.
the crumbs, he
It,
called her a dog.
no, that's not what that story's about. He's
Wow.
talking to a Gentile.
Dude, I
He's
think you
talking to
should
a
really read the
Gentile, and they're
Bible is
talking
what I
about,
think.
huh?
I think you should read the Bible.
I've read the Bible. I've read the Bible multiple times.
And you don't know that story, he calls the lady a dog?
He's not calling a lady a dog.
He literally calls her a dog.
Read it.
And she asked him to heal her child, and he says, we don't heal dogs here. And she goes, well, even dog needs some crumb. And he goes, okay, well, that was pretty witty. I'll hear your daughter then.
That's not what it says.
That's
read
exactly
the script,
what
man.
it says.
Read
You
it
should really
word
read
for
the
word,
Bible because
verbatim.
you don't even know what the prophets say, man.
Read that one, dude. I was digging you for a minute, man, but come on, bro. Don't read it
All right.
verbatim.
Well, I'm going to prove you wrong, and it's just going to make you look bad because now that you've said
That's
that,
okay.
I'm gonna rub it
Prove
in
me
even
wrong,
worse
buddy.
after we read it,
I that's what I would like. I'm not worried about
I
being
will.
right.
Don't worry. It's coming now. Oh, he's teacupped.
Sorry, but I was checking my GPS.
You're good. Jesus left that place and went away to the district of Tyre and Sidon. Just then a Canaanite woman from that region came out and started shouting, have mercy on me, Lord, son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon. But he did not answer at all. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, send her away, for she keeps shouting at us. And he answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and knelt before him, saying, help me. He answered, it is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just called her a dog.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So you don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Well, I guess that one I didn't know what I was talking about.
Who was right there? Was it you or me? I can't remember.
Well, that was you, buddy. I mean, that's good.
Well, no, there you go. So it sounds like I know what I'm talking about and you don't.
I wouldn't say that all the way, man. You got me on one thing, bud. Like, okay. You don't got to be a fucking dick, man. We were having a good conversation.
You were the one trying to rub it in just a second ago. That's why I turned dickish.
I didn't say
you were being
anything. I said to bring it up and to bring it up verbatim. That's it. And then once you brought it up and read it.
Oh, well,
I wasn't rubbing
congratulations.
it
You're
at
honest
anything,
about
man. I was
that.
having a conversation with you, dude. But all right, man. You have a
Well,
great fucking day.
congratulations. You were honest then.
Yeah,
You got
I
proved
was like,
wrong. Yeah.
that's good. I don't mind being wrong. That's the thing. That's like a problem with so
Okay.
many people.
Well, all
Is
right.
that
So
like
Jesus is
you
calling the
can't have a
lady a dog.
conversation?
God is killing infants and having women raped. So why in the world should anybody be a Christian?
The message of peace, man. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
What peace?
All peace. To love everybody as you love yourself. To love
Jesus
your
didn't
neighbor
come to bring
genuinely.
peace. He came to bring a sword. You want me to show you where he says that?
He's the God of peace. What are you talking about?
You want me to show you where Jesus says,
You don't
I
think
did
you
not
don't
come
think
to
that
bring peace
unjust
to the
and evil
world,
people?
but a sword?
But that's the thing, is you don't
want me
think
to show you
unjust
that?
and evil people deserve death?
What?
You don't think unjust and evil people deserve death? You don't think
I
these
think your
people should
God
be
is
fucking killed?
unjust and evil.
Okay. But
Okay.
that's
It sounds like
these
you
people-
agree with me, except when I show you where it says stuff like that, you agree that it's evil, but it's probably just man writing it, you know?
You said what?
You want me to show you where Jesus says, I did not come to bring peace to the world, but I came to bring a sword?
To bring the sword of truth, yeah, and justice. 100%. Yeah,
No, he
I
says,
understand
I
that
did
one.
not come to bring peace to the world. I came to bring a sword.
Okay.
So this is your boy. The one you're talking about is the man of peace. He's saying, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword and pit mother against
How many
father.
more parables does he talk about peace?
He's
And how many more
saying no
messages
peace. He's saying no peace there.
Mount, on the Sermon on the Mount? How much does he talk about it? And then when it comes up to the woman who's supposed to be stoned, what does he say about the woman who's to be stoned?
You mean a story that was added in like 1,000 years after the fact? Yeah, he whittles away
But-
out of getting out of the keeping the law.
Okay, so there's nothing to be said as far as the Bible preaching the message of peace. It's all evil. It's all unjust. It's all
No,
bad.
you say Jesus is the man of peace, and I'll show you verses
I'm
where he's
asking
calling
you that
women
question.
dogs
That's
and
the
saying,
question
I
I gave
did
to
not
you.
come to bring
I'm
peace,
just
and you're
I'm just
arguing
asking
he's
you
the
to
man
field
of
that
peace,
question,
right?
boss. Just field that question. That's all I'm asking you. Once we get that basic understanding, I know who I'm speaking with, and then
We
we
don't
can
have
move
that
forward.
basic understanding.
So the Bible is all evil.
It says a lot of evil stuff, yeah.
It's completely evil. There's no peace in
I didn't
it.
say it
There's
was
no
completely evil.
But anytime that I'm bringing up any of those, your counter argument is to bring up every evil passage, right?
Yeah, in the same way, every time I bring up God doing something evil, you try to bring up a good one to counterbalance it. You're saying it doesn't do me any good to go the other way, but you're trying to go that way yourself.
No, I'm just saying, like, if there's no good in the Bible at all, and you believe there's zero good in the Bible
I
at
didn't
all,
say
and
that.
that God
I never
is
said that. You're bearing
is
false
completely
witness.
evil, where this is my understanding of the messages that I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, but you're adding stuff. I didn't say
You-
every single thing in the Bible is bad. I'm bringing up
Okay,
stuff that
so what's
is,
good in the
and then
Bible
you're
then?
adding on top of it that I think it's 100% bad.
So what's good in the Bible then?
I don't know. Jesus has got some good moral teachings. Like, I find it respectable to
So
say,
those are-
do
so-
unto others
so
as you would have them
those
do
are-
unto you. There's nothing wrong with that.
So can you understand where my personal experiences with the Holy Spirit and accumulation
Yeah, that's why I
of
said
the
a long
messages
time ago,
inside
I
the
can't
Bible?
debate your personal experience.
Well,
What I
hold on.
can
Let me
debate is the
finish. Let me
Bible.
finish. Yeah, just let me finish that real quick, so that we can have an understanding and a respect.
Okay.
So you can understand that by me reading the Bible and coming with the good away from the Bible, the good messages, right, and personal experiences that I've had with the Holy Spirit and encounters with other deities, that I could make a faith base that my God is good. I could personally make that base. You can't understand it, but you can understand how I can make it.
Yeah, I understand you do that because you discard all the bad stuff and try to read the good stuff. So, yeah, I understand the bias there, yeah.
Okay, so but you could understand how I can make my come to faith.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said
Okay.
I can't debate your
And you
personal
don't believe-
experience. Like, I'm not here to debate anybody's personal experiences.
That's
You can't
that's
debate
cool. I'm not
psychosis.
I'm not asking you to.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying
Yeah,
to, before you
I
keep cutting me off, I'm trying to speak and you just keep cutting me off at the knees, man.
Well, I'm trying to keep you on track.
I'm trying to keep you on track.
So do we still got something to debate here, or where are we at?
I don't think so, man. But you have a great day.
You too, buddy. I appreciate you coming up, man. All right. Well, he was a cool dude who needs to read the Bible for sure and address what's actually in there, not just the parts he likes. All right. Well, let's see. What do we got here? We got 5 people in the queue right now. No degree required. I like the sound of that. All right. Hold on. Before I bring up the next person, let me see where we're at here. 1,167 followers. We are moving right up right now with the growth of the channel. We're at 16 so far, just this live in like a couple hours here. What, an hour and a half? That's been pretty amazing. Hell yeah. I appreciate y'all. What up, everybody I hadn't seen yet? What up, ninjas? What's going on? Finkeldorf, what's happening, my man? What's going on, everybody? There's a ton of comments. All right. Let's try the next in here on this fine Sabbath of days. Let's see what's up. Howdy, Thorn. What's happening? I appreciate all the screen taps and shares and stuff. That's what keeps the TikTok algorithm flowing and getting us the debates up in here. So if you're a Christian, come on up. We want to talk to you. If you're there, of course. DJC, you there? Hello? Hello? DJC. Going once? Going twice? Sold. All right. Let's bring up the Thorn next if he's here on purpose. Thorn, what's up?
Not
Hello,
much.
you're over 18?
I am.
Awesome. And you're a Christian?
I am not, but I had a topic that I thought would be interesting to hear your side of. It's actually happened like perfect time for me.
Okay, real quick. We just try to debate Christians in here, but hit me real quick.
So, I heard this, and I know it's gonna piss the Christians off, so this is really good for your engagement, actually. So,
Well, I ain't just trying to necessarily piss them off.
so I heard it, and I can't disagree. I think I've now adopted this. The Christian God isn't actually the Christian God. Satan would be their God. Because Satan isn't inherently evil. What Satan did was simply cross God. All he did
That's
was,
true.
why must we all follow you? Why are we only subservient to you? So in reality, I think it's backwards.
I mean, that's a good point. It could be. Thanks for coming up and bringing that up. But yeah, we're just mostly just looking to debate Christians in here, or at least have some good conversations. But yeah, try to keep it to debate. But I mean, that's a valid point of view in a way. I don't know how I feel about it, but I haven't heard the whole thing there either. So, well, let's try the next one. The Morning Star. Well, let's try the next one. Christian. Hey, you there? Morning Star? Hey, you there?
I'm just adjusting my microphone. I'm just adjusting my microphone. Yeah, sorry about that. I was getting an echo.
Oh yeah, I was hearing that bad. You're a Christian?
I'm a little different.
So you're not a Christian?
No, I'm something way different.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, sorry man. We're just looking to debate Christians up in here at the moment. I appreciate you coming up though. But yeah, just looking for, I know I cover up my thing here some of the time, but we're just looking to debate Christians in here, not necessarily. I understand people have criticisms of Christianity, but this isn't necessarily the shit on Christians channel either. Here we bring them up to talk and let them shit on themselves if they're going to do that. Oh, the servant's here. I saw the servant. Let's bring the servant up. He might still be here. No, maybe not. Servant, what's up?
Hey man, how's it going?
What up, buddy?
I adjusted my microphones and stuff. It just it's intense, you know.
I hear you.
I've been watching the live, man. Good stuff, man. You proved that last brother. I don't even know if he's a brother, man. I know he definitely doesn't read his Bible. You know, you definitely proved you proved him wrong, man. You definitely proved him wrong, and I commend you. I commend you for everything that you do, because you are really teaching the truth, man. You truly are.
No, thank you. Yeah, you're a Christian, right?
Yeah, yes, I'm a Christian.
Oh,
I have my word right here. I do this daily. You know, I die daily. You know, but what I wanted to talk about is the Old Testament. You know, because it was touched base on it a little bit, but they didn't really go into it, or they were afraid to go into it, and it was in the comments and everything like that. What I want to talk about is Isaiah 45:7. What you guys were talking about.
I don't remember bringing up 45, but that's a good one. That's the one where Cyrus is God's instrument. Yeah.
Or 45:7 says, Isaiah 45:7. You can go to your sword. You know, anytime.
Yeah.
It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. And he couldn't even answer that. You know, everything that you create here on earth, whether you create it in darkness or everything you create here on earth, you create in light, got to be very careful, you know, because if you're living in this world, it's very dangerous. If you live outside the world, it's going to be very peaceful, but not everybody can live outside the world. Most Christians are just believing in God. They're not obeying God. You know, there's a fine line between that. You know, even the devil goes to church. It's real, man. This is just not a story. This is
so you do think God is evil then, right?
No, I never said that he was evil, but he did create it. He formed it, and just like it just said in Isaiah,
wouldn't that like be accepting the responsibility for creating it in the first place?
Not so much responsibility. That's another fine line, because you can twist responsibility for your own perception. You can. You know, if say I was the morning.
Well, I mean, like if he wouldn't have made it though.
Say if I was the morning.
Nobody would have been able to use it.
Say if I was the morning star. You know, I would be able to twist everything a certain way. You know, I could use my words a certain way. Not necessarily I could use scripture or not use scripture. You know. But we got to be careful on how we use our words, because we don't know how to use our words. We can't master this double-edged sword. We can only come close to mastering it, because the word, if you dive into it every single day, and if you, it's bigger than we know. It's way bigger than we know, but not everybody's doing it, man. You know, they're using it for their own purpose, because this sword is a weapon, you know, and it's a weapon of choice. How you use it, you can use it for good, or you can use it for evil. You can use it for dark, or you can use it for light. It's how you choose to use it, you know. And a lot of people fail to see that, and they fail to hear that, and they fail to taste that. Once you realize and you stand outside of this, food starts tasting different. Water starts tasting different, you know. You don't want that no more, you know. And to do all this, you know, you got to clean your vessel. In order to clean your vessel, you have to fast, man. You have to fast, and you have to even use repentance on things that you've done, if it is the will of God, and you have to pray about it every day. If you're
So if
not
God was doing something unjust or evil, would you be able to tell us?
me,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could answer that, to be honest, and to be honest about it, is I don't have that kind of power, I don't, and
You don't
how
find that a little concerning?
I do, but it's I think it's a conscience thing, because everything comes to conscience, even God conscience, it exposes itself some way or another, some form of another, see, I'm an artist, right? I'm just a regular artist, and it took me a long time to realize is everything is art, you can't tell me something that's not art, because there's a design and pattern for everything, down to the smallest microscope protein cell or anything, to the cell phone or anything. There's a design for that. There's a pattern for that. It's wild, man, when you really, really try to seek out multiple truths, or infinite truths, or infinite sorrows, or infinite falsehoods too. You're going to find a lot of things, and you're going to question a lot of things, but then you're going to find a lot of answers, and then you're going to find a lot of, nothingness too. It kind of goes hand in hand. You can't have one without the other, regardless. That's why I really like what you do here. It just, one day I would like to have a one-on-one with you, man, just to find out, just another time, just past events that occurred, because we all go through past events, and to get to, the present now, and everybody's
Mine was actually pretty good.
It is.
Started studying the Bible a lot.
I've been studying it since I was 5 years old. I was baptized when I was 5, and then 40 days ago, I did my first 40-day walk, and I was saved for the first time, and I got baptized on day 40. And then I'm trying to do another day 40, but it is hard now. When I have vacation, I'll have vacation soon, and I'll be off for 2 weeks. I'm going to try to do a 1 week fast and pray. I've never done any kind of really hardcore fast lately, or in a long time. When I was studying Buddhism, I did. I also did it when I was studying the Bhagavad Gita, and so I haven't did it in a really long time. So I want to see the difference of it now, that I'm different now. I'm way different. So I want to see what this does when I fast. Like the other night, I was doing some stuff too. And it wasn't so much fasting, but it was different. I can't speak about it because of TikTok purposes. But
Cool.
we can change that subject real quick too. It's
I'm not too sure we have too much to debate on then. Technically, I don't.
No, I know, man. So I want to commend you and everything you're doing, and keep up the good fight, my friend. It's not easy, as I go up against some of these atheists in other rooms, and they're not as wise as you. Far from it, man. You're the wisest. I've seen. I've talked to hundreds of them, and none of them get it, man. To me, you were the scholar. And when I was listening to Josh Brown the other day, man, I can't wait till you study that Hebrew. You're going to be on fire, bro.
Oh, Bowen. Joshua Bowen.
Yeah, you're going to be on fire when you start studying with him, and you're able to learn that language, bro. You're going to next level, top tier stuff. And right now, I'm actually trying to learn Aramaic right now, and that is hard, and it is extremely hard, especially to speak with it fluently. I actually talked to a Muslim the other day, and by the time I was done talking to him about Jesus Christ and stuff, he thought I was trying to become a Muslim. It was wild, man. And we were just talking.
Weird the way people read that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I read the Quran when I was in prison, All the way through the commentary, everything. The big green book. It took me about 15 months to study with another Muslim. He helped me along that way, and I found a lot of truths in there. But then I found more lies than anything. But that was just me and my perception of it. It was crazy. But there's a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of evil stuff too. But it's all kinds
Reminds
of
me of the Bible, yeah.
yeah, it all connects, man. Somehow, in some way, it connects. Just like humans, somehow we're all connected. It just some way whatsoever. But I commend
I
you.
think it's out of the stuff, but yeah, man,
Yeah,
I appreciate you coming up, buddy. I'll drop you back here, and
yeah.
we'll
Thanks.
bring up the next debate here. But yeah, we appreciate the shit out. He's a really nice guy, so I don't mind letting him up and talk a little bit there. He's really cool, and look how learned he is. He's actually read all the stuff, so I mean that's pretty awesome. You know what? Before I bring up the next person, y'all please keep tapping that screen. The likes, the followers are building up like crazy on this channel now. Yeah, he was really cool. I mean, I don't even really mind booting people, but there was only one other person in the queue right now. Well, there's 2 or 3 now. But yeah, he was really cool. I remember he was really nice anyway, so I don't mind letting him run on a little bit there. But I usually will cut it too. But anyway, let me run and use the restroom real quick, and I've still got like 45 minutes I can be up. So let me use the restroom real quick. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll be right back, and we'll bring up the next person. Y'all keep tapping the screen, please. All right, back again on the Sabbath. All right, here we go. Yeah, I like everybody. Whether you think I'm in here crushing the Christians or you're a Christian and think I'm getting crushed by Christians, welcome. Oh, my queue is now. Well, maybe we got one more here. No, I guess not. Well, we don't have another person for the second. So please keep tapping that screen if you don't care. Keep us pumping out into the world so we can get a Christian in here to debate. Never takes long, does it? Not too long, anyway. But welcome in, everyone. I also have a YouTube channel that's Apostate Ape. If y'all want to check that out, I'll put all these replays on there. What is up? What is up? Been a fun little day so far. Good little Sabbath. The day of the Sabbath debates. I reposted that crazy discussion that Dr. Josh was on with me on yesterday with a guy named Coy, or called Coy, whatever his name, whatever it was. I reposted it on the page though if you want to check that out. It was insane and pretty awesome. Yeah, sorry, I went silent. I was reading some of the comments. Well, welcome in, welcome in. I'm still waiting on somebody to debate at the second. But no doubt we'll get somebody in here pretty quick. It never seems to take too long. Get some chocolate milk. Yep. All right. Let's look here again. Where we at? Thank you for the follow there. Still got a ton of people rolling through the queue here. Morningstar, if you're not a Christian, we don't really have anything to debate, man. Oh shit, we are at 40K. That's a bunch. I appreciate the shit out of that. Y'all really pumping me out today. I appreciate y'all. Good morning, Jennifer. Welcome into the Sabbath. Today, God unalives people for picking up sticks on. It's a great day to argue, isn't it? Yeah, they're tapping like shit. I appreciate that. We still ain't got somebody in the queue for the moment, so need a Christian to debate in here. So all we can do is keep tapping them. One will roll up in here any minute, I'll guarantee. I still got a good, I don't know, half hour I can be on. I did a little yesterday. Y'all works hard. Appreciate the follow, the Black Atheist. We like all atheists. We like Christians too. Well, we like calm Christians. Need some good representatives of the faith in here. Snow. Eee. I hate snow. Thank you. I appreciate y'all tapping that screen. It's been a good life so far. I had Dr. Josh back up for a minute. Had some good debates. Showed one fella that he don't know the Bible as well as he thought he did, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, just looking to debate Christians. So, let's see. Oh, well, no, I thought somebody came in the queue, but nobody did. Yeah, buddy. Well, we're here with the hot topic. I've been leaving this chart up all week here with these topics. They've been awfully fun, I think. 99% of the pick topic is God is an unjust narcissist and liar. Seems to be the one that comes up by far the most often. I don't know what happened there. Well, y'all keep tapping, I reckon. That's all we can do at the moment. Sometimes we gotta wait like 5 minutes before we get somebody in here to debate. And hell, I could just sit here and read the comments half the day, I think, sometimes. Indoctrination is real. And I know that because I was once quite heavily that, personally. Sad it is to say, might as well, it's true. But anyway, if you're a Christian and you want to come up and talk, you feel like you can defend one of these topics up here, that would be really cool. Lathe of Heaven, what's up? I didn't even see you there. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, that gets us pumping out, doesn't it? We'll get, it's always kind of interesting. People jump off, I think, when, we're in between folks, and then, once I start talking to somebody, the viewership will jump back to 80 or 90 people. It's pretty awesome. I feel like I'm doing great, y'all. Like, I don't know any other creators with, less than 1,200 people that are pulling 100 plus people audiences. It's pretty amazing. I feel like that's pretty good to me. So I'm tooting my own horn a little bit there. But yeah, I do feel like that though. So that's pretty amazing. The encouragement is off the charts here. I appreciate all the taps, all the love, all the follows, all the debates. If you're a Christian, thanks for coming to talk to us. We wouldn't have a channel without you. Thank you, Finkeldorf. Be my favorite pennies. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. What did we get to there? Nope. As usual, there's people rolling through the queue there, but nobody's actually what was this? Nope. Well, we'll get a Christian here in a minute. If we ain't got one by, let's see, I've got till like 10:20ish, 10:30, so I still got quite a minute here. But if we can get somebody in here in the next 5 minutes or so, we'll debate them. If not, we'll try another plan. Usually I always get somebody though. Usually never takes too long, does it? I think one day it took like 15 minutes and I reset the thing and then it was all went ape shit again. Ape shit, get it? Apostate ape shit. Ah. But yeah, welcome through everybody. Here we like highly contentious but civil debates. I really do not care what someone says to me as long as they don't say it while I'm trying to talk for the third or fourth time in a row. Other than that, every once in a while I'll use the mute button, but I'm not going to sit here and mute with people and have hollering matches. We like actual discussions up in here. Actual discussions. Other than the TikTok ban language, you can basically say what you want. It's a free speech platform. Free speech as far as speech can go on TikTok. I know that's a bit of a joke, but TikTok's probably the worst place for a free speech type thing, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. So. Thank you, Servant. Servant, what kind of art do you usually do? Do you like painting, or what are you talking about there? Just curious. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we've hit what's it been? 6 minutes since anybody's been in the queue here. Well, since one state anyway. I don't know, the last couple of lives, it seems like they pour in and then kind of stop at a certain point, but not really stop. You just got to wait a minute to get on somebody. But I guess that's pretty common because even the big shows, I've noticed, some of the bigger shows, they have 700, 800, 900 people on here sometimes and they run out of the queue too. So I guess it's just a normal thing. You got to hand it to TikTok. It's pretty amazing that we can run a show like this and even get really anybody to debate up in here. Because I always wondered, before I got a TikTok and stuff, I was like, how do these people always get so many people to talk to them? It's just because they're running out the TikTok. It's pretty amazing. I love it. Ember, I suspect that's because it's bogus. When someone's healed on internally and you can't see anything, it's pretty easy to say, yeah, God did that. But something you can see, like watching a limb or a finger grow back, is seems pretty hard to do for some reason. I don't know why we can't make that happen. There's actually some kind of trick, like I seen it on like the African preachers thing where they like make somebody's leg grow a little bit. There's like they like move somebody's shoe or something. Like I don't know how motherfuckers sleep at night who pull shit like that on people. Well, they probably sleep on a big bed of money, but still, unfortunately, I have a conscience, and I don't feel like it's right to deceive people like that, even though they're kind of. I mean, maybe they even got it coming. I don't know. It's their fault. They're falling for it, I guess you could say, but still. It's not this life that matters, it's the next. You mean the next one you believe is next? Because as far as I know, this is the only life we get, so this is the only one that actually matters. The one life that you know you're living in. Why not make the most of the one life that we know we get and not accept fairy tales as truth and base our one life on the next one that might not even come? Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody. 50K likes today so far. That's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I love it. Y'all been wiggling them thumbs today. That's pretty cool. I don't know what's happening here, y'all. The queue has just stopped. It usually rolls on constantly. I'll tell you what, we'll give it like 5 more minutes. If we don't get somebody in 5 minutes, I'll stream it on out for the day, probably. Because, I mean, if we ain't got at least 15 or 20 minutes to talk, it's barely worth getting into it with somebody there. It's weird, though. We usually never have to wait. There's always somebody lined up to talk to here for the most part. Thank you, Ember. I appreciate the roses. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. It may be a false alarm, but yeah, I guess it was. Like I said, they come through the queue constantly, but whether they're here on purpose or not is a different story. Thought we had one there. Started loving. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the heart. Well, either way, it's been a pretty awesome day so far. Had some good combos. Still got a minute. Plenty of time for a Christian roll in here. We'll give it a bit. Man, look at the likes though. Y'all go. I appreciate the crap out of y'all. That's what really helps the channel is the engagement. Like all the comments, all the likes and screen taps. Repost help a lot. But I appreciate you. TikTok demands we do these things. You can't just listen on TikTok. You got to be doing stuff. They want you working. They like the engagement on the TikTok, right? I agree. Faith has squat to do with truth. Faith is believing what you know ain't so, as Mark Twain would say. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. Like most of the time, it kind of feels like it shuts down as far as engagement, but all the numbers are still pretty right on to what's normal, really. So I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes because the numbers look right, and other times it just don't. The queue just don't fill up. Well, I say it don't fill up. It don't fill up for like 5 or 10 minutes sometimes, but it usually always gets somebody. There's only been like one, maybe once or twice since I've been doing this show, and this is the 39th day in a row I've been up here. But there's only been once or twice that I've actually had to reset the live just from not people being engaged. So I try to be pretty loose with that. I'll tell you what, we'll give it 5 more minutes. We'll have a 5-minute line here because I kind of got to jump off at 10:30 Central anyway, so I only got about a half hour. But I'll give it 5 solid more minutes just in case, and then we'll have at least 15 or 20 minutes we can run on, assuming somebody jumps up here. But if not, we've already had a good day, so we'll just take that for what it is. Yes, comment all the heathens out there. You throw comments in there. Where we at on comments? What we got so far? Oh, it don't say. I thought it would say. I guess it don't say that. Everything else looks pretty normal though, for real. I mean, how many people have came through, like all that stuff. Ember requested up. Did you request up on purpose, Ember? I don't think they were a Christian though, so I was thinking they might have requested up on accident. Proud to be an enemy of the believer's imagination. That could be a t-shirt right there. That could be a t-shirt. Well, Christians, you got, if you're a Christian, you got about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes to request up and then talk for a little bit. What a great way to put that. What a great way to put that. Yeah, I don't think Ember requested on purpose. Yes, I try to use logics. Sometimes I'm probably struggle, but that is what I try to do. Nonetheless. Yeah, well. Yeah, well. Booey dooey. Still got 3 minutes. Well, still got 2 minutes. Miscounted there. I don't explain invisible. I call that non-existent. In the sense that a being is supposed to be there anyway. Unless it's like bacteria or something. I guess you could call those. Those aren't technically invisible though. They're just too small to see. Like you can even see breath technically. Like if you see the fog from your breath outside, you can watch it. So even that can be seen. Dang, still nobody in here. This is crazy. That's crazy. Still, and 50 people still watching. So I mean, you would think somebody would jump up here, especially with all the likes and comments. All that stuff's completely normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary as far as the numbers. It's just the queue filling up there. I got a microscope I'll show you got through. It's a really, 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 really powerful one. You look in there and see like an atom. You're like, there it is. That's God. Yeah, I think. I don't know. There's been a couple days like that. But thank you for the stuff there. So that's what always makes me want to keep going a little longer. Is the engagement's normal. And sometimes it just takes a minute to get somebody in here. It's not really even anything out of the ordinary. But I mean, as far as my numbers on the stream, all pretty solid. I mean, nothing seems like it's super out of the ordinary. But I think sometimes it just takes a minute to actually get somebody to talk to you in here. Especially if people's already been watching and heard what happened to somebody else. So, like, I don't want that to be me. To be honest, that's pretty rational, I guess. Oh, maybe. I don't know. not sure. I guess they are. I don't know. I don't even feel like it's totally out of the ordinary. But that's what I did yesterday too. I ran one up and then didn't get anybody in for about 15 minutes, and I reset it. And then it went kind of apeshit after that, so I don't know. But I really don't even have time to reset it for real. Not to have anything meaningful anyway, I don't think. Well, we don't hate him. We don't think he exists, but just based on the things that the books say he does is why we call him an unjust narcissist, and that's because he makes people suffer for his own glory. If the definition of a narcissist is somebody with a overly inflated sense of self-importance and a vastly inflated ego, then he's just doing all this for his own amusement, which makes him a narcissist, in my opinion. This is why I argue that. Like in John 9:3. It says there was a blind guy who neither he nor his parents had sinned. And it says he was blind just so God could show his might through him. So God's making people blind just so he could demonstrate his own power through blind people. I mean, to me, that sounds pretty horrible. Oh, I thought we had one in here. I was going to say, well, if I can bring this one up, we'll keep rolling. But crap. All right, guys. Well, I guess I will chop the stream today. But it's been a great day so far. Hell, it was on for like 2.5 hours nearly. What was it? Yep, 2.5 hours. So, I mean, we had some really good conversations and stuff. It was not a wasted day. It was not a wasted day. Thank you for the follow, Chrissy. I am here every day. Tomorrow will be day 40 in a row. Today is day 39. I've been up here streaming for at least a couple hours. So, can't stop now. Can't stop now, can we? Can't stop now. And the channel is growing like absolute, I mean, just crazy. Every time I turn around, I've gained a ton of followers and engagement and how many people shows up here. I mean, it's insane how fast it's growing. So I appreciate the crap out of all of you. All of you. You're all awesome. The Ricks, the Joshuas, Oren, all of you. All of you, Ghost. All of you. You're all awesome. Even the Christians, y'all are awesome too. We couldn't have a show without you guys, so that's why we want to be welcoming. We don't want to be like one of these shows where they develop a bad reputation. It's like, why the fuck would anybody want to talk to that guy? He's just an asshole. And maybe some people see us that way, but I try not to be. If you've seen the show, I think you you probably know I honestly take it pretty easy on folks. Actually, I get messages commending me on my patience and such. I don't know. I feel like there's a few people that got any more patience than I do, for real. I don't have a husband. My wife never yells at me. That's because women are calm. Technically, women should rule the world, I think. They have the real logic and reasoning, ration and stuff. I do what I can. There's some that come on here that I think are just as good as me as far as believers, as far as patience goes. But anyway, guys, I appreciate the shit out of all of you, and we will catch you back tomorrow. I'm going to try to do me up a co-host again for tomorrow, since it's a Sunday. And we'll keep the show rolling tomorrow, man. Keep it rolling tomorrow. And of course, 3 people. Well, no, never mind. Blows up there. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath. If you got to work today, don't work too hard. If you're relaxing, relax the shit out of this day. If you got to get shit done, get it done, then relax. All that stuff. But we will catch y'all later. Someone else trolling for likes and comments. Yes. All right, guys. Well, y'all have